Hey everyone! I'm eating dinner because I'm running late. But hey everyone, my co-host, she's also running behind because we got confused about the time zone. So I'm gonna get started, and I'm gonna give you all a little bit of background about me, and then when my co-host comes in, then she can give a background about herself, and then we can go into the topic. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Vicki. I have 5 kids, and I've been dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to homelessness, maintaining a job, and really being really overprotective and sheltering my kids to the point where there's a struggle between responsibility and having the ability to be like having independence, if that makes sense. If you've been following my channel for a long time, then you guys know that I made a video years back when we were still living in a hotel, and I actually made a video. I think it was one of the first videos where I was really vulnerable, and it was like I had an epiphany, and then it made me understand why my kids were the way they were. And it was because of my upbringing, my childhood trauma, and what I grew up around. And it kind of spilled into my parenting with my kids and how I was trying to raise my kids. And it made me realize that I was a shitty parent. Like point blank, like I was a horrible mom, and I was struggling and not understanding why I was having issues with my kids. And that moment when I made that video, it made me realize why. And it was because of not just, trauma from my childhood, but it was also like, the people that raised me or who was my guidance. So it made sense to me that it was more so of the toxicity that was passed down generations. And I decided that I was going to end it, and I was going to be the one to break the cycle. And I've worked really hard for that, because if you've been following me for a while, you've probably seen the growth, and you've seen how I've changed and I've evolved over the years and how I've adjusted. And a lot of people didn't agree with it. And, and I understand that, because everybody has their way of how they want to raise their kids. And it's understandable, you know what I mean? And no, this is not a wig. It's just my hair is not really tied up correctly. So, so for me, I've evolved and I've grown, and I've made a lot of decisions based off of outside opinions. And now it's to the point where I am comfortable within myself to make my own choices and feel good about it and follow my gut about it. And it took a while for me to get there. And so instead of feeding off of and listening to outside external noise, I decided to listen to myself. And now things are a little bit different with the kids. I don't have to beat them. I don't have to holler all the time. Well, I'm not hollering. but there's a different understanding, because once you get past a certain age with your kids, you have to start treating them as adults and not like little kids. Like they're still 3, 4, 5, 6, because they want that independence and they want that responsibility. So it was a huge adjustment for me, because I wanted to be that coddling parent who wanted to constantly hold them and cuddle them and fix all their issues and try to be the person, they could come to for every issue, only to figure out that, like, even you could be as open and honest with your kids, but your kids are going to do what they want to do, and they're not going to do what you say, and they're going to do as they want to do. So that's pretty much a background about me. Hey everyone coming in the chat, how's everyone doing tonight? I am eating a steak and some green beans with an Arizona tea, because I'm not ready to drink yet. It's a little early, my kids still up. And I don't want this going on for a couple hours, because y'all know once I start drinking, I can talk for hours. Hey Kay, hey Dominique, hey Shamira, hey Gina, hey Janelle, hey TT, hey Vibe, hey Mama 12, hey Nakia. So yeah, my guest, she's supposed to be coming in. I didn't realize that she was in a different time zone. So she's hurrying up and getting ready, and then she's gonna hop on. But in the meantime, we can chat, we can hang out and talk. But I just wanted to give a little context about what tonight's topic is going to be. And the topic is, are you becoming your toxic mother? And for me, it was, I realized that I was becoming my toxic mother. And not in, and for me, mother doesn't necessarily mean my biological mother, because my biological mom was not in my life for a good 7 years. So that's not the woman that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the woman that raised me and took care of me and was the one that tried to teach me and, educate me and raise me and home train me and everything like that. That's the woman that I'm talking about. Hey, Kayla. So yeah, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Hey, Anonymous Mom. So if you guys can relate, give this video a thumbs up, share it, because I know this is going to be a deep conversation. I know I plan on sharing a lot and being open and honest with y'all about a lot of things when it comes to parenting and my toxic traits, because let's stop bullshitting. We all got toxic traits, and we need to, and it was something that I was saying the other day when I was on live with Divine, is that we can own our shit. We can own our shit all we want, and we can be accountable and acknowledge it. But that's not the real issue. That's not what's hard. The real hard part is, actually making the changes to do it, to not be that person that you was before. It's the actual habits and the thoughts and, the reactions that you do. That's the part that's the hard part, I believe, because that video that I did was like almost 3 years ago, and I'm still here and I'm still working on myself and I'm still trying to do better and I'm still trying to change my habits and my reactions. And now I know that, it's because of my mental illness, but now I can take accountability and sit here and say, okay, I was wrong. I need to go back and talk to my kids and tell them, I apologize. I'm wrong for what I did. I'm sorry. And this is why. And I understand if you're mad at me and, because I tell my kids, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should forgive me. Like, no, like they're human. They have feelings. They can understand a lot more than we give them credit for. So I tell them, like, I understand if you're mad at me for the time being, and that's the end of it. But kids are a lot more forgiving, so you should not try to guilt trip them into forgiving you. Like, that's just my opinion. I've seen people do that where they're like, well, I apologized, or I tried to give you something in return just to make it up to you. Like, no, that don't work. Which we're gonna get into further on later down. But hey, everyone. Hey, Retta. You're grilling. Yeah, see, I was cooking before I started, and I thought I was gonna have time, but yeah, that didn't work out. My steak took longer than I expected. And then the kids wanted stuff. Oof. Exactly. I agree. Right. And anxiety is one of my issues, but I know for a fact that I have bipolar disorder, so that's on a whole nother level. And sometimes when I react, it has nothing to do with my kids. It's just because I'm so irritable, or I've been up for days at a time because I'm having a manic episode, that I just snap. So I have to like constantly be open and communicate with my kids. And that's another thing. Like, I didn't grow up learning how to communicate or how to express myself or how to respectfully, share how I feel when I was growing up. And I realized now that I did the same to my kids. Whether if it was consciously or unconsciously, I did it. Because there's times where my kids would be like, "Nah, you listen to us," and I'd be like, "No, I caught myself." I caught myself, and then I'll go and like try to have a conversation with them about it. What's in my drink? You want grapes? You want cherry tomatoes? All right, you can have it. Oh yeah, Kay. That's exactly what my kids' issue is. And I don't want them going anywhere. And they keep wanting to go places with pop up, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, none of y'all don't even need to be outside. And then I'd be yelling at them talking about the Rona's still there. Me and that don't play. We ain't trying to go nowhere. And if y'all wondering, I'm drinking this now because icy tea is disgusting. I don't like it anymore. Since I stopped drinking it for like a month and a half, almost 2 months, now I can't drink it. So I bought this. It's not better. It's definitely not better, but at least it's got ginseng and green tea. Oh, I believe it. I mean, some women, you can tell that they never evolved from it. And then there's some women like Nana who's constantly telling me all the time, don't do as I did, do better. So, you know, it just depends on who it is. My question is, even if we evolve, and because I know a lot of older women, and I don't know if there's some in my chat, but there's a lot of older women. I noticed that they beat the shit out of their kids when they were younger, like me, example. But then when they have grandkids, they're like, oh, don't beat them, and that's because as time went on, they realized that their ways was wrong, and so they don't want their children to raise their grandkids the same way. But instead of having that conversation with their kids, explaining them to why, they just continue to like undermine the parent. If you get her some tomatoes, that's for everybody. Use a little cup. Mm-hmm. Give me some tomatoes. Yeah, you was. I seen you. Go get some tomatoes. I know. It's okay. No. Kids are tearing up stuff. Hey, Kiva. Hey, Linda. I don't know if I caught you. Hey, Chef. Hey, Ability Mom. What's going on? I'm eating because I didn't make it in time. I was in a rush trying to go food shopping. And that is coming. I actually vlogged it, the grocery haul, but it's gonna be in a vlog, like a family vlog. I'm trying to solve this steak. And we had steak, um, green beans, corn, and some sauteed mushrooms. Right. I know some of it I deserved, but I think there's a huge difference between discipline and beating the shit out of your kids. Hmm. But I think it also depends on the age of the child, age of the child, and age of the child, and how severe the crime is. Because I always correlate. I don't know why, but I always correlated my kids' punishment based off of what they would experience if they didn't live with me and they were out in the street. So I'm thinking to myself like, how would this be handled? Ugh, I'm trying to hurry up and eat this. I need food in my stomach before I drink. So that's why I'm eating this. And then I also got some cheese and some grapes. None of your business. Kids and grown folks' business. Hey, I can't wait. I just got the email that you shipped out my package, T, and I'm like already excited. Like, yes. You should have. I told you I had to go food shopping. We have food, but we didn't have food. Like food that we wanted to eat. I only ate that seafood because that's all I had, and I had to eat something. I have jungle juice. I have vodka, which I'm probably not going to touch. I have wine, which I'm probably not going to touch. I'll probably drink the jungle juice. Oh, he didn't go to sleep. Of course, team. No, it's not over yet. I'm just getting started. I'm waiting for my co-host to come in, and in the meantime, I'm eating, and because I'm running behind. Hey, Divine. Like you can have the other piece of the steak. I know I wasn't going to eat the whole thing. That's why I was like, do you want to make that or not? Thank you. I bet he was tired. Poor baby. And you know what? I think I understand that too, Mama 12, because the way I was with my older kids, because they were so stair-stepped, I'm not the same way with Arrive. And I think it's because she's younger and it's only one. So it's a lot easier for me to be able to manage her. Because I can, but when you got 4 under 4, it's like, holy shit. You have to have structure and be like tight. I did. You don't remember? Because if you think about it, yeah, 13, 14. Yeah. As soon as Journey was born, Jess was out of diapers. Andre was potty trained while I was pregnant, and Jess was potty trained as soon as no. Yep. I believe it. You just yelled at and banging him. Look, we just having a conversation about kids now. She's talking about how Journey was upstairs trying to smother Justice. Yeah, they be fist fighting, and people like, nah, that's Leon beating the kid's ass. No, my boys fist fight. They literally fist fight. They be fist fighting with as soon as I like, and a lot of people may think it's wrong or whatever that I have cameras up around my house, but since I put my cameras up, I peeped a lot of shit about my kids. I learned a lot more. Yeah, they stopped doing a lot of stuff too, because now they know I'm watching you. Yeah, they play like that, but then when they get mad at each other, then the hits be harder. And I'm like, y'all not black. Y'all still bruised up. What are you doing? I see your black eye. What the heck? And then when I asked, I was like, what happened to your eye? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. You know what happened to your eye. Because they know they're not supposed to be fighting. Yeah, but we didn't fist fight like them. No, I'm waiting for my co-host. No, we got messed up on the time zone. Yeah. She's an hour behind me. So when she said 8 o'clock, she was talking about her time zone. My fault. That was my fault. I usually ask because I be forgetting that everybody's in my time zone. But yeah, we didn't fight. Like we had maybe twice we fist fought. They be fist fighting every day. The boys, they be having black eyes because they be fist fighting, and me and Nana be catching them on camera fist fighting with each other. Or the girls would come and be like, Journey and Justice are literally like punching each other in the face right now. I do save the clips. If I can catch it on camera, I save it. When they get caught with something, I'd be like, I save it. I'm not allowed in my house. Boys will be boys, not allowed in this house. Boys will be held accountable. I can't even talk. Held accountable. God damn it. I really wanted the string thing. That's what the problem was. And I believe there's a ghost in this house. No. I don't know who it is. Was on my phone taking a picture, and like I had this feature where you put your hand up and take the picture without having to actually like press the button, and the camera kept recognizing this picture appear as a hand, and it kept taking pictures. I almost went bye-bye. But yeah, boys will not be boys. No, you're not gonna be putting your hands on somebody. That not happening over here. Ah. I can get it. Sometimes you miss it. You have four boys. See, I know what it's like with Leon. I understand why he don't want them fighting because he didn't grow up with a brother. But I keep trying to tell him like it's normal. Like that's normal. But I mean, like they go to the extreme. The girls don't fight. I mean, they have disagreements, but they don't really fight. Like they'll have disagreements and they'll argue about like clothes. But as far as like fist fighting, they don't do that because Andrea's not a fighter. Like you have to really piss her off to get her to that point. And Akina, she'll only do it just to show off. That's why she got pulled out of school because she was hitting Andrea in front of her friends to show off, and that was a no-go. Right? My kids is nothing like us. My kids are on a whole nother planet. Lex too. She messaged me on Instagram, and then she asked me if we could, if for a shout out, and I told her no, let's do a collab. And then she was like, I was like, we could do like a day in life, or we could do a cooking video. And she's like, no, how about, are you comfortable with doing a controversial topic? And I was like, yeah, sure. So she's the one that came up with the idea of the topic, and I was like, I'm down for that. Yes, let me know. So she was like that, and that's how we got into this. My boys are right. My boys are ready to throw hands too. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate the super chat. I don't plan on being on here for 4 hours, but it depends on how the vibe goes and the conversation. Because like when the conversation gets good, I don't want to end it. But yeah, you could guys do the replay if you guys want. Make sure you like this video. Oh, sorry guys. I'm trying to multitask. Did I venture off into the B sector? No, I didn't. I'm still a mommy channel. I don't know. I guess that's how I consider myself. I still consider myself a mommy channel. Oh, did I ever venture? Yeah, I've ventured into the beef sector, but I just watched from the bushes. I just watched from the bushes. I don't know nothing. And I can't pick sides because I'm just looking at everybody. Like, this is crazy.
I need it like this. You want to go see Lord?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy over there. I stay myself in the bushes or I don't even go over there. I don't. It's crazy. I can't, and plus I can't keep up. I be so confused about what's going on and who's talking to who and who's who. And then I end up getting introduced to new people. So I don't have time. It's too much for me. Oh, thank you. You miss it? You need to come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. They do, and they do a lot of most stuff, but it's just be like, it's like a whole soap opera. That's how I look at it. It's like a soap opera over there. Yep. Sometimes, like, if I like where the conversation went, and it's like nice and motivating and inspiring, and like it hits me, my soul, my spirit, like the Holy Ghost, then I'll comment something. But if it's just all that hollering and all that, I'm staying in the bushes. I'm just looking in the back. When they do all the hollering and roasting, and I'm doing that. When it start feeling like a church sermon, then I might comment. It just depends. And you know who I'm talking about, because certain people do that in the sector. It'd be like a church sermon. I don't know. I'm waiting for her to come on. I'm waiting for her to come on. She told me she was going to hop in the shower. That's why I said me and her got the time zones confused. Oh, here she is.
Hey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am new, so I don't really know how to. How do I see who's talking in the chat?
It should be at the top in the corner. It should say comments.
Ah, I see. Live comment.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Alexis. How are you?
So I gave him a little bit of context about me and my background and what the topic was going to be about. So maybe you can give you a little bit of your background about why you want to go into this discussion and topic.
Okay, so For those who don't know, my name is Alexis. I'm 25. I'm a mother of two. Well, I guess if you want to get technical, I'm a mother of three, two biological and a stepson. So lately I have been on a journey. I don't know if 2020 has been very symbolic for any of you guys, but it most definitely has been one for me. And I have a lot of things about myself, my surroundings and the people around me, ever since the world has forced to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a very long time, I didn't know why I have emotional issues, like when it comes to connecting to people.
Mm-hmm.
Very low self-esteem. I would physically walk around with my head down, where I would have neck problems because I was so insecure. And for a very long time, I thought that's just, a lot of my issues. I thought that's just how I was, But throughout my life, and me actually having my own children, it helped me recognize a lot of my personal issues.
Yeah.
And I noticed how I'm not the only one who has these issues. And I also noticed that in our community, as the African American community, so far that I can see, because I can't speak on any other community because I'm not around those people.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to not talk about a lot of the things that harm us.
Yeah.
What I focus on my channel, I want to focus it on healing. I don't want to say necessarily focusing on that, but I want to definitely, how I explain it to other people, I air out my life and my dirty laundry to help other people, because a lot of people need encouragement.
And that's pretty much how I started my channel too. So I understand. Yeah.
Right. People, they don't really have, they take it as a weakness to embrace what they're going through, and I want to use it as, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm going through whatever you're going through, and they expect me to be this person when in reality I feel just as small as you, and we can grow together, so yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to get into this. I just really want to help heal the world, and put it like that, because I can't really expect me to really do all the work, But yeah, I just wanted to use my story. Hey, mommy on the budget. I recognize her. She's always in my.
Oh, she's the bomb. So when you came to me and asked me about the whole topic and everything like that, I was just like shocked, because I'm like, yes, like somebody that I can understand and relate to. And I was like, I'm definitely down to talk about this, because I tried before to like open this dialogue, but people were more concerned about my living situation instead of what was going on. And only for me to get into this house and to go through the programs that I've been through, I realized that we have to stop telling people to ignore what their issues are and focus on financial, like, income. Because in reality, if your mental stability and your past issues or whatever mental health that you're going through that's putting you in that certain position to where you can't move past it or be able to succeed, you're not going to get nowhere. And that's something that I tried to explain on my channel, and I even did research on it, and I even told people, I said, welfare and all these programs, their main focus is job first instead of home first or mental health first. And that's the problem that majority of the issue within our community, the Black community, is because that's how welfare portrays it to be. And a lot of people assume that welfare is only for Black people and Section 8 is only for Black people. And that's not the case. I grew up on food stamps, and I didn't know this until, I learned more information. I thought, my family was well off. But then, like, as time went on, I mean, I'm just saying, because I was spoiled. My sister's in the live chat, and she'll tell you, like, we have big ass birthday parties, and we shared a birthday. For years we thought we was twins because we always had the same birthday. Like, we were spoiled. Like, you like before my dad died, my dad spoiled the shit out of me and my sister. And when we went to go pick up the beds and everything, like they couldn't even walk through the room because there was so many toys everywhere. So like I assumed we was well off, like we was balling my whole life.
Yeah.
And so like now that I learned more about my history and know more about everything, it's just like now it makes sense because why I am where I am. And for me, it was like it wasn't until I was in a dark place and at my bottom that I realized that I was the reason why my kids were sheltered and they didn't understand certain things, or when I gave them certain directions. It was because I did everything for them because I didn't want them to go out into somebody else's house or go to a park or experience the things that I experienced when I was growing up. And now I realize that I'm at fault for why my kids are who they are. And the only thing I can do is change me for it and make a difference in how they see things and how they will view things.
Right. Because unfortunately, if we don't talk about it, we're destined to make the same mistakes. And that's why we
Yes.
talk about it. Because as much as I know,
No, I'm just saying that like Nana, I'm sorry, Nana's telling me, she's like, don't do that. You're not at fault.
No, me, as far as me, like.
No, she was talking about me. She was talking about me. Like that's why you heard, if you heard her in the background, that's what she was saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're destined to make the same mistakes because unfortunately, like you said, I know my parents both, they love me very much. And at the end of the day, they were just humans who didn't know any better. They did the best that they could. But as a child,
and that's how
you end up growing resentment and a lot of things.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I took those same habits into my own home. And a lot. And I didn't want my children to grow up like I did. Or to be, I don't want to say as if who I am is a bad person, because I appreciate those moments now because it made me a better person. But
right.
I'm saying as if I don't want them to have to figure it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had to pretty much raise myself, and that's a very scary thing to do. So,
God dang it.
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm about to. I'm on the phone trying to link the.
Oh no, take your time, because I was going to say the same thing.
To the community.
Is that I don't fault my aunt and uncle for how they raised me, because now I understand that they raised me the best way they knew how and with what they had. And now knowing what happened to, their generation and their generation before them and how they were raised and before that. So it makes a lot of sense. So I don't hold grudges and I don't hold, ill feelings, and I was able to like forgive and move on. But a lot of people don't understand why I choose not to be bothered, and it's because it has to do with family secrets, you know what I mean? And those family secrets, you know what I mean, that people don't want to talk about. And I'm not the type of person to sit in somebody's face and act like it's all good and gravy. I'm gonna bring it up, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up until we have this conversation. And until that happens, I'm not going to be a bother with you, because I don't want my kids to go around thinking that's normal, that's how you have to be. Like, you have to pretend to be somebody you're not. And I don't want my kids to grow up thinking that they have to hide who they are because they are supposed to respect me as their elder. Like, no, like, I want you to be you. I want you to be comfortable to be who you are. And if anything ever happens, I want you to be comfortable enough to come to me and know that I will believe whatever the fuck you say. Like, I don't want you to, and then I don't want you to be scared or say or be afraid that I'm not going to fight for you or to do something that's necessary to protect you. And that's the issue I'm dealing with right now with my 14-year-old, because she's not understanding that when I say no about certain things, it's to protect her. Because I've been there, I've done that. Yes, you can make certain decisions, but certain decisions is not required. Like, it's not going to happen because you're not 18. Like, certain decisions you can't make because you're not 18. I will allow you to make certain decisions to an extent, but I know a lot of people in here understand when I say like to a certain extent, because it's not the same when you're 13 compared to when you're 16. It's not the same when you're 16 to 17 and 18. As time goes on, you're given more leeway. And so for my daughter, I'm open and honest with all my kids about everything. And certain things I haven't been comfortable enough to tell them because they ask me about my mom, my biological mom, because they know who she is. They ask me about my biological father because they've seen pictures of him. But then they also ask about other family members that they know of, but I don't associate with them because of the family secrets. And so it's hard for me to like explain it to kids because they don't understand, because they see how I interact with Leon's side of the family. Because they
or I'm not.
Yeah, Leon's my husband. Like they understand like how I interact with his family, because the way I interact with his family is not the same way. And sometimes the kids even get confused because like how we communicate is weird. Like when me and Nana, my mother-in-law, me and her communicate, like me and her, sometimes we be having like screaming at each other, like no. And but the kids take it that we're arguing, and really we're just really passionate about the topic that we're having, and so we're both trying to get our point across and tell each other, and then 2 seconds later we're fine.
Right.
Yeah, that is a mess.
Conversations go in our family too. We can be very loud, and sometimes I don't know, like ours do kind of turn into arguments though, because we're so passionate. We don't really communicate at all, honestly. And sometimes I'm still working on my communication. I recently got into meditating.
Yes,
because I don't know. Honestly, it was kind of random. Like when I tell you my whole spiritual journey, it's nothing that it can expect. It just happens.
Yeah, it does. Because mine was unexpected, and it just so happened that my sister-in-law comes over with the movie The Secret, and then that's when like that sparked my whole spiritual journey, and that changed everything for me.
Man, I saw that when Harvey was here, and it's interesting because like one of my homegirls, she's more spiritual than I am. And, she's been trying to, I guess, speak certain things to me, and due to my upbringing, I looked at it as evil. You know what I mean? Because it was new. You know how that you have to reprogram your mind. You know how that goes.
Yeah, because when me and Leon first got into it, we were kind of confused because we were just getting into church. Like we were trying to get back into church and everything like that. So when we seen it, it was like, oh wow, this is interesting. Like there's some truth to this, but I don't know how I feel it.
Right. I'm trying to get possessed here. That's what I thought, but I kind of
I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. My sister said communication is so hard in family, and I'm like, and it's crazy because like in my family there is no communication. Like I don't know if you grew up in the era where they're like, mind your business, you have no opinion, you don't say this, you can't say that, I don't want to talk about that right now, or they'd like excuse me or pardon you, like as if like did you even bring that up? And that's something that I dealt with a lot growing up. So like it was hard for me to be able to communicate, and it was even hard for me to express myself. So I ended up going into like drawing and writing poetry to be able to express myself. And when I met my husband, it was hard for me to express to him too, because at the time I was dealing with a whole lot of ish with my daughter's dad. So we mostly like wrote letters to each other to get to know each other. And that was the only way I know how to, like, that's how we were able to communicate with each other. And even now, 13 years later, it's still hard for us to communicate with each other.
Try that, because right now, me and my husband, we are separated. We still live under the same roof. It's kind of a situation where we both understand that we are both broken because we got together when I was 19. We were both 19.
Same with me and Leon.
So we kind of, I don't want to say we
I understand,
but you know what I mean? So we kind of grew up
together. How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. That's what happened with me, because I met my husband when I was 19. He was 27. So when I hit 24, 25, So when I hit 24, 25, I was done with him because I grew up. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm done with you. Yeah, I got 4 kids. Oh, well, whatever. I'm done with you. Like we're not on the same page. We don't want the same things. Like, and we separated for a good 14 to 16 months because of that.
Really?
Because I had to find myself, because I grew up with him and I didn't have that 19, 20, 21. So I didn't have that time for myself And I felt so confused because, like, I mean, when you have I had so many kids. I had kids back to back. I have 4 under 4. So it was hard for me to figure out who I was because I pretty much stopped everything to be a stay-at-home mom so that he can work, so he could provide for the family. So everything that was meant that I was trying to pursue pretty much ended. So I understand where you're at. Like, and it's going to happen again when you're 30 and then when you're 31, 32.
Girl, that's what I'm excited to reach 30. I'm not going to lie, because I've heard good things about 30, dirty 30. Like, I hear, because you know how it is when you're in 20s, you feel like you're too young to have it together, but at the same time, you feel like you're too old to not have it together.
Right.
So you're
right
everywhere.
Yeah, you're in between. Like, I remember, because like you want to do so much, like you have so many ideas and you want to accomplish so much when you're that age. And then once it hit 30, because like for me, once 30 hit, I was like, damn, I didn't do shit.
Right.
Like that's how it feels. Like I feel like it's like, damn, I didn't do nothing that I said I wanted to do. And I'm stuck where and it felt like a cycle, like the lesson kept repeating itself over and over again. And it felt like I couldn't get out of the same lesson. It seemed like every single time I turned around, it was like, oh, here you are again. You're going to deal with homelessness. You're going to deal with this. You're going to deal with this. And it's like, it was so repetitive. And I was just like so fed up with it. And I was like, you know what? When I got into this situation, I was like, I'm not going to do that again. I need to break the cycle. I need to fix something. I need to change something. And it was hard because it was hard. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. And I was telling them earlier in the live that, you know, it's not holding yourself accountable. You can hold yourself accountable and you can say it out loud verbally where your flaws or your fuck ups are, but when you actually make that change and you actually change your habits and you actually change your thought process and everything, that's the hardest part for me, is trying to unlearn what I learned growing up all my life and changing it into something else so that it's more positive and it's more effective and it's not so like my sister said, stay in a child's place, because my kids are not children anymore. They're teens. Right. So I can't keep using that same line, like, you know, stay in a place. No, I can't be like that. And I try to explain that to my kids because they're not understanding why. And I told them, I said, you know, we have to change our, like, because they want me to go back to how things were when we were in a hotel, like us on top of each other, constantly interacting, constantly like, again, and
dynamic. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because we're in a bigger house, everybody's spread apart. Not everybody's interacting with each other. We're not playing games as much as we used to because I'm in school and I'm working. Whereas before I wasn't working outside the house or outside the hotel room, so it was harder. It was easier for me to be constantly with them all the time. And I had to tell my kids, I'm like, I have to change my habits. We can't continue to do the same thing because what we were doing obviously wasn't working. So we have to change that.
Who's the question for, Miss Shauna's? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it's for me or for.
I know we're.
I want to interact with the chat too, because
yeah, right.
I get on live every so often. I try not to get on live when it's pointless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So make sure it's an actual reason why I'm on here. So I have to remember that I'm also interacting with other people on here.
People, right?
So how do you see how many people are on here?
It should be at the top in the corner. It probably don't show you.
Oh no.
It's about 36 people in here right now. My kids I have a 14, a 13, a 12, a 10, and a 3-year-old.
Oh, goodness, girl. Yeah. You made sure you spread them out. Goodness.
Yeah, that last one, I was like,
Oh, man.
I'm like,
cool. Do you at least get
and my husband wanted to keep going. If I would have let my husband keep going, we would have kept going and going and going until we got to the 3-year-old. And I said, no.
Like my grandmother had 12 kids. 12. Yes. I was like, did you ever get a break? Like, what year weren't you pregnant? Like,
and I can't keep getting pregnant because it's not healthy for me. My body don't like it. My body rejects the baby.
Girl, seriously.
It's just not worth it for me.
Both my pregnancies. I don't know if pregnancy.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 5. She'll actually be 6 next month. And my youngest is 1. She'll be 2 in December. So they're about
Okay.
4.5, 5 years apart, something like that. I wish they were closer in age, but I had my oldest young, so it could have went.
Yeah.
Even though I would have liked them to be closer, having 2 kids at pretty much around age 21 would have not been.
Coming from somebody like me, no. And it was funny because me and Leon had a conversation like a couple weeks ago. We were like, and mind you, when I met him, he was already 27. And me and him both said it. We was like, if we would have known what we know now, we would have waited until we're like 30, 35 to have kids instead of trying to rush so early because he was hearing all the people in his family, like, when you going to get married, when you going to settle down, when you going to have kids. Like, he's hitting 30 and he's thinking like he has to hurry up and rush to have kids and have all this happening only for it to, like, we both like
actually have kids longer than women, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, our biological clock is the one that's ticking.
Right. Because my mom was 24 when she had me, and my dad was like 55.
Wow.
Yeah. So my dad was older. My dad was a lot older when I was born. Like, no, he was like 40 something. Like, he was hitting 50. And I know that. But yeah, my mom was really young, and my dad was really old. So men can have babies a little bit longer than us women.
Oh wow. How was that like growing up with an older father? I'm sorry.
My father actually passed away when I was 5, so I don't know. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Really, Celeste? Celeste? My mother-in-law's a mess. Don't mind her.
I never got to stay in a child's place. What does that mean? Like you was exposed too much? What does that mean? Hi, mom of 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend anybody when I said my grandmother has 12 children. Back in those times, they was fruitful, okay?
Right.
Okay.
Like, well, for me, like the whole I wish I would have saved the article, but it was an article about a girl. She was talking about her mother and her relationship with her mother. And my sister sent it to me, and I was like, yo. And it really described and explained how my relationship is with my mother. And both of my mothers, my biological mother and my aunt. And it really made me understand, like, wow, like, this really, like, the relationship between a Black woman and her mother is really strained, and it's weird. It's really weird because, like, and I thought it was just me who have felt that. To see this article and see so many women relate to it and share it, and then in the comments talking about, like, this described my relationship with my mother. This described a lot of, like, and it was really crazy because, like, it's hard for us, and especially I feel like for me, because I know a lot of people look at me and they're like, you're Black. No, you're not. You're Asian. Stop bullshitting. But I grew up in a Black household, and it was hard for me because, like, I only identify as that. So when I grew up in that household, I was getting my ass tore up. And it wasn't like I was getting my ass tore up with a belt. Like, I was getting welts on my back. I was getting hit in my face. Like, I was getting my ass beat. Like, I was getting fucked up. Goodbye, I'm doing our lives. You really gonna complain and argue about a piece of paper? Really? Really, really? I'm like,
girl, you good. I had to make sure my people I had already sent text messages out. Do not disturb between the hours of.
Oh, no, I was supposed to message somebody and let her know that I was going live too. Oops.
My dad is 70 and he has 11 kids. Wow.
11 so yeah, it was hard for me to grow up because, like, I feel like like I went to, somebody, and I told her about the sexual abuse that was going on towards me, and a lot of words that she was saying to me was like, basically like, well, he's already dealing with this karma. There's no point of doing anything about it. Or she's like, what do you want me to do about it? So, like, when I say certain toxic things, like, that's what I'm talking about, is like women who have their daughters or their nieces or somebody go to them and tell them something really personal and they just blow it off.
One thing that I learned in that situation is sometimes people don't know how to respond when you're telling them something. So,
right. And that's why I don't hold any grudges. That's why I'm not angry, because like now that I'm old enough, I'm thinking back to it and I'm like, well, the people that I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Like that will make a huge issue within the whole family, not just with her, but with other people. So it's like, I understand why in her mind, she didn't know what, like, how to react to that. But for a child, like, because I was only 9 or 10. Now, if I was 16 or 17 and I said something, then I probably would have whooped their ass. You know what I mean? But because, you know, I'm older, but I'm a child and I don't understand what's going on and I don't understand why it's happening to me. And you're telling me that I can always come to you about something that's going on. And then when I do tell you, nothing, like nothing. And then I'm basically constantly told that I'm wrong or I'm bad. So I think for me, it's the communication that makes it, like, can make you become a toxic mom. Like when you have lack of communication. I also think that it's a lack of understanding, because like, you know, we don't see that with our mothers when we try to explain certain things or why they're like in our faces about something that they learn about or they find out about or we tell them, because there's no lack of understanding. Like, example, now, like my son, he's 10 and he came to me and he was like, I want to really the corn he dropped all his corn. My son came to me and then the first thing in my mind, he was like, I want to wear makeup. I want to wear makeup. I want to do my nails. I want to get the wigs. But the way he was explaining it to me, I was thinking in my mind that he wanted to be a girl or he wanted to dress like a girl. You know what I mean? And then he was like, and then I had to like take him by himself to talk to him and understand, because I'm like, no, let me not jump to conclusions and let me not, you know, assume anything. And so I sat down and talked to him. He was like, no, I like dressing like a boy. He's like, no. He's like, he was like, I want to do cosplay. I want to do, you know, take the camera and, you know, record stuff and he's like, I want to edit videos and put them on YouTube and stuff. And he's like, and I want he's like, I want prosthetics and, you know, create things and turn into a monster. And imagine if I was a kid and I was a little boy in my time, I would have went to my aunt and been like, I want to be a girl. I want to wear makeup. I want to be like this. My aunt, like older people would have been like, hell no. But, and that's the thing. Like I feel like being a toxic mother as well is like you're not willing to be open-minded and understanding your child and what they're trying to say and what they're explaining to you. And because imagine when Bernie showed up and did it, like, you know, did the makeup, whatever, and showed Nana and pop up, they was like, you're a boy. You can't go outside with no makeup on. And that was the first thing they went in their mind. So mind you, they're 60, you know what I mean? They're 60. So the era that they grew up in is a whole different era.
Right.
So, and I was like, and I told them, I said, sometimes you have to stop and think and actually sit and listen to your kids and ask them questions, because when you start assuming and then trying to throw things in their faces, they shut down and then they don't want to talk to you.
Especially since they really don't know how to sometimes express how they're feeling, you
right.
know. So
yeah.
that can really cause a lot of mental issues in the long run.
Yes.
Like, it's a lot of things. Like, I have anxiety. I'm one track minded. I have to learn how to multitask. It's a lot of things that I literally have to rewire and teach myself. I get easily distracted, so I'm thinking that I possibly might have a slight not ADHD, but what is it called? What is that? Autism. I'm sorry, or something like that. My sister is autistic, so I noticed we have similar. I guess I don't want to say symptoms, but you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just know, I guess one thing that, like I said, what really sucked was the fact that I felt like I was alone and I didn't know where to start. And I would have loved to have, because I'm the oldest, I would have loved to have a big sister or somebody to look up to, or something to help me, because I literally I had to navigate and figure all this out on my own. So it made me think, how many people out here are unaware of who they are or what's even happening? Like, do you even understand that you can actually help your anxiety issues? You can help you can do all of that, but you can't if you don't even know what's causing it or where it started from.
Yeah.
So
what triggered it.
So, and all they do is tell you, like I said, we don't really talk about it. Depression was depression.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean not to interact with y'all.
My mother told me at the age of 9, she got pregnant with me. So my dad would marry her at 15. Oh my goodness. At 15, she told me, oh my goodness, I am so sorry.
That's crazy.
If you were abused and told an adult, they need to be held accountable for being abused twice constantly. Hold them accountable.
Oh, I am holding them accountable. That's why every time I have the conversation and I go around them and I'm like, so about this, and they're like, I don't want to talk about this right now.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So and I explained to them, I said, if you don't want to talk about this, then I don't need to be around you, because I'm not going to hold my tongue and I'm not going to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and mingle around the people who took away something from me, as if I'm supposed to love them and care about them because they're my elder. No. Get out my face. Nope.
Yeah.
That's my problem, and that's been my problem since I was growing up, because I constantly spoke out about things that was going on in the household, outside the household, that
it made you the black
happening to me, and I got in trouble for it instead of it was the opposite, and instead of them, they're like, well, she's just acting out. Obviously, I'm acting out for a reason, and one of y'all already know the reason, but you're choosing to ignore it. So that's been the issue. And when I was 15, I moved out. I said, I'm done. I found an escape and I moved the fuck out. And I was like, and I even told the person, I said, you would never ever in your life put your hands on me again, ever. And it was something that it was kind of liberating for me, but it was necessary for me to understand certain things that they were trying to teach me. But then there were certain things that I was like, I can't dismiss the fact that, yeah, you helped me in this aspect, but you didn't help me in this aspect, because now I'm dealing with a lot of, anxiety and then PTSD and all this other stuff because of you. You know what I mean? Like, and it was hard for me, like, and it's crazy because like a lot of people don't understand that my relationship with my mother is not the same as with her sister who raised me. Like, me and my mom have had conversations about why she was not there in my life, why she left, and why she wasn't involved in my life. And we've actually had that conversation. We sat down and stayed up until like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and bawling our eyes out, having that conversation. So the reason why I don't talk to my biological mother is not the same reason why I don't talk to her sister.
Right.
I don't talk to my mother because my mother uses, and I can't be her parent. I don't, and I shouldn't have to be her parent while she's using. I'm sorry, whether if you're on drugs, whether if you're drinking or whatever the case may be, I can't be around you because that's a trigger for me growing up, because her sister was an alcoholic. So it was hard for me to be around people that are alcoholics or the angry alcoholics, because for me, that's a trigger for my childhood. And I've had people that live with me and that were like that. And I'm like, you have to move out. I'm sorry. This is a trigger for me. And my kids are not used to this. They're not accustomed to people getting drunk from dawn to dusk and cussing everybody out. Like, that's just not normal, because my kids is looking at me like, what's going on? They're looking at me like, what's going on with these people? And I'm just like, you guys have to go. Like, this is not healthy. This is super toxic. And this is the reason why I don't fuck with X, Y, and Z, because of this situation. Y'all got to go. I'm sorry. and then a lot of people take it the wrong way. And I'm like, I just don't want my kids around it. I don't want my kids to think that that's normal. And that's how you're supposed to be when you're around family.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just, like I said, I really want to help people. I really do.
Oh, yeah. I just cut the people out, mommy, on a budget. I don't go around nobody. It's been, I think, what was the 2016 was the last time I've seen, and I went to one thing a while ago, but you could tell that they knew, because my aunt kept trying to talk to me and I just kept on blowing her off. Like, don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me. Like, I went to one family gathering and and she knew. She was like, I get it. And I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't get it. You don't get it.
I don't know. I'm not really good with cutting people off. People cut me off. That's just how that works. People cut me off because I guess honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you why. To be honest, I couldn't tell you. I don't physically hurt people, and I take accountability for my actions. I know when I've done something, and the one thing that I take pride in is in my integrity and how I treat people.
And that's the reason why they cut you off, is because you hold yourself accountable, and in return they have to hold themselves accountable, and they won't.
Thank you. Are you talking to me?
That's the issue.
I don't know, because I'm like, you said her hair.
No, I'm talking to you. No, I'm talking to you because you said that. Oh, and she's talking about you because my hair is a day old. Right. Like,
what we talking
but
about?
That's what it is. That's the reason why people cut you off, because when you hold yourself accountable and you can tell people where you fucked up at, and then you're looking at them like, so are you gonna share?
Yeah.
Hi, I am. Keep it going. But they won't. And so that they realize that once you hold yourself accountable, you start putting up boundaries. And then once you put up boundaries, then they're like, hold up, I don't like the boundaries that you're putting up. So therefore, I'm going to remove you from my life because I can't take advantage of you, or I can't control you, because now you are aware of what you're doing wrong. Because really, they was enabling you
that
for not.
Sense. Someone
They was what in the world? They was enabling you for being the person that you was, and then once you became aware of it, then they're like, oh well, I can't fuck with her because then I can't continue to do the same things that I was doing before around her.
I don't know if it's a bad thing. I don't know how to cut people off. I'm still trying to figure out if that's an issue, because the way that my heart is so big that even when you hurt me, I still can't let you go.
You sound like my sister.
I still want to help you. Some sort of
that's like that. That's my sister. Me and my brother are the same way. Like once you piss us off, or you hit a nerve, or you trigger us in a certain way, like we won't talk to you for a while. I can go years without talking to you. I can see you walking down the street, and this happened recently. Like somebody was calling my name, and I couldn't see because I'm blind, but I knew the voice. I couldn't figure out if it was my mom or my aunt, and they was calling my name, and I was just like acting like I didn't hear them or see them or nothing. I was just like, whoop, keep it going. I will pretend like I don't know you exist if it's to that point, because I have to protect my space. I have to protect myself, and I have to protect my kids, because it may not be something physical that happens, but even just the word or how you say certain things can affect somebody, and people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly why I treat people how I want to be treated. That's how I know I'm not out here just acting crazy and treat people any other kind of way, because if I don't like it, if I don't want it, then 9 times out of 10, that's not how I'm going to treat you. So
right.
I know, like I said, I don't know why people cut me off, but I don't know. I like I said, I know, I don't know if it's a bad thing or not. Part of me feels like it's a good thing. I just need to learn how to use it, because if if my heart is so big to a point to where I can overfill someone else's cup to where mine will be empty, and then I look for that person to help fill me up, and then it's nothing.
Yeah, I understand that.
Fill other people up while my cup is still overflowing. So that's where I am right now. Because if the way, and I think, like I said, I think God made my heart this way for a reason. Because it's like, how is it possible to hurt me so bad, but I still can't see them hurt? What is that? Like, it's not fair. Like, I used to actually hate that when I was younger. Like, how can I hate you? Like, why? I should, but I don't. And
I don't think it's anything wrong, because like and this is something I tell my sister a lot, and I tell her this all the time, and she's in the chat and she can tell y'all, but when she tells me certain things that's going on within the family, I tell her every single time, hold them boundaries up. Like you have to hold those back. Like if you want to keep people, you don't have to cut people off, but you do have to be firm on your boundaries, and you have to be firm about what it is that you're willing to tolerate and not tolerate out of that relationship. Because and a lot of people don't understand when I say polyamory, or when I practice that, But it doesn't just mean, your partners or your romantic partners. It goes for all your relationships, whether if it's spiritual, mental, physical, sexual, whatever. You have to have boundaries. You have boundaries with your co-workers. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain line that you don't cross over with your co-workers. When it comes to, if you go to church and your pastors and the deacons and all the staff, there's a line not to cross when it comes to those people. It's the same with your family members. You have to have boundaries with everybody, and it has to have communication. It has to be open. It has to be honest. You have to be transparent. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be open enough to be able to have that. I'm open enough to sit down and have that conversation, but they're not. And I don't fault them for that. But I know what I can't contain. Like, I can't I'm not going to be able to hold myself accountable and have that self-constraint to not say something. You know what I mean? Like, and that's my issue. Because, like, anytime I go around somebody, it's always that conversation always comes up because I always bring it up because it still bothers me and I still want it to be dealt with. Like, I know for a fact that I'm not going to be 100% once I have that conversation.
Yeah,
with somebody.
It's interesting because my grandmother recently passed. She passed last night. And so
yep,
it's a situation where I don't know my grandmother, but I knew her. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have a relationship, but I still knew her. And me and my sister, we always used to talk about, we didn't know how we were going to react to it. Like, how we're going to react to it, we don't know how we're going to. It was like, I think if we be sad, it's only because of our mother, for our parents' sake. But then once I got the phone call yesterday, I was sad. And the crazy thing is, I was sad for myself, but I was more sad for my mother. And because me and my mother don't have that relationship, I can't even be there for her when she's grieving.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. That's why I was like, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to talk about it because now I can't even be there for my mother when she's grieving. Because I want to be there. I want to touch you. I want to say certain things. But I don't even know how. It's weird. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, we have to fix this. And I know my story is the story of many. And I don't want it to be a situation where it can be too late for you.
Yeah.
You might not even have that with your people.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, this year, I feel like it's something about this year that is
right
of transition or exposure or the light. I don't know. But
yeah,
the whole world is feeling it. And I don't know if y'all can feel it, but I can feel it.
I can feel it. Mommy on the budget says, so how do you keep the boundaries when you want them to love and they are toxic? And this is something I just told a friend of mine too on my personal page on Facebook, because he said something about his parents, how his parents don't even call him or nothing. And he's the one that, calls them and says, I love you. Do you need something? And I told him, I said, you have two options and neither one is wrong. It's something that you have to figure out for yourself if that's what you want. You can either cut them off and treat them how they treat you, meaning no conversations, don't call them, don't do nothing. I mean, not saying that completely cut them off, but the only time you associate with them is when it's holidays and, or continue being who you are and love them regardless and accept that you're not going to get back what they give you, if that makes sense. So it's like you can keep people in your life, but you have to understand who you are as a person. And I tell people that are like that, where they constantly give, don't feel bad for that. Don't feel guilty about being that person where you can't cut off people that are constantly only coming around when they want something, only there for you when their hands is out. Don't feel guilty because that's who you are as a person. Don't feel bad about that. If you want to because I know how hard it is. But if that's who you are and you say, you know what, I am this person, this is who I am, and I know how they are, so therefore I'm no longer going to put expectations on people. Right. You understand? It's the expectations that you expect from other people. I'm no longer going to put these people on this pedestal, so therefore they're not responsible for my happiness. They're not responsible for what I'm able to get out of who they are, because we always expect something from other people. We always want somebody to be like, well, if you do this, therefore I will love you. When really that's not how it's supposed to be. And we do that to our own kids. And I keep trying to tell people, like, we can't be that way with our own kids. We can't be that way with nobody, especially people we don't know on YouTube. Like, how do you put expectations and put these people on a pedestal and we don't know them? And like, that's something that we're setting ourselves up for failure, because really that's not the other person. You know what I mean? That's us. And that's the thing that we're putting out and we're projecting out. And if you believe in the law of attraction, you know what I'm talking about. When you give that energy out, like, I expect you to do this, you're never going to get what you want. Never going to get what you want. But once you remove that expectation and you detach yourself, disassociate, detach, cut the soul tie, whatever you want to call it, then that's when you're able to do things for other people, and you're doing it out of love without anything in return. And that's something that I tell people a lot, like, know your 5 languages. And even if there's people around you that you really have that connection with, know their love language. And even if you don't even got to say nothing to them, sometimes you can just switch up on them and be like, okay, so I know this is this person's love language, so therefore I'm gonna do that for them because that's what they like. So it just depends on what it is that you're going through and who the person is, and whether if you're willing to do that with that person. Because every relationship's not going to be the same. Your relationship with your mom and your siblings and your grandparents is never going to be the same.
Agreed. Yeah, that's pretty much, you kind of explained it. That's kind of how me and my husband are able to still live under the same roof.
Mm-hmm.
We're separated. The best way I can explain it, like I said, it's like unconditional love. It's me understanding that you're in your process, your path is different than mine, and you're just a human being who's just learning.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
And for me to expect you to treat me like this person, if you weren't even aware of it, it's almost like I'm not understand. It's for lack of a better term, it's almost like I don't care that you don't know.
Right. Exactly. And it's crazy that you said that, because like me and Leon, we were separated for a while, and we lived together for a couple months before we decided to get back together. And for us, it was more so of like, okay, we're not going to deal with like all this stuff together right now. But my thing is that even when we were together and Leon was dealing with his own personal growth, it was hard for both of us, because he doesn't, like, you know how men are, they got pride. So it's hard for them to be able to verbally express themselves, especially Black men, because they're in their mind, they're thinking, I can't express how I feel, I can't tell you how I feel. Or something. Yeah, and then in some cases, men, when they do try to express how they feel, the first thing that snaps in their mind is anger, lashing out, screaming and all that, because that's what they were taught. You know what I mean? And it's hard. And then for him, instead of becoming that irate, angry Black man that everybody always says, he shuts down and he becomes emotionally, mentally, everything unavailable for everybody. And then it's like a cold shoulder. So it's like, it's frustrating for me, because I'm just like, I want to say something. Right. What's wrong? Right. What's going on? What's wrong? And then 2 weeks later, then he'll tell me what's wrong. And I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Shut up. You told me 2 weeks ago. And it's frustrating for men. But yeah, I get it. I understand 100%. And there's nothing, and it sucks because, like, for me, because Leon went through some traumatic stuff too as a child. He grew up in a household where he was, he got his ass whooped all the time, and he dealt with, sexual abuse too. So it's like, it's hard for us, it was like a way for us to like have something in common, but at the same time, we both had to realize that we both have to learn our own shit and separate and work together and then come together. Because and I'm telling this to anybody that's in a relationship with somebody that grew up with trauma or something like that, you can't fix the other person. They have to go through the experience themselves. You may want to so badly. And it's the same for our kids, because I want to experience what my daughter's going through. And she's going through what I went through. She has a dad he's an addict, and she's dealing with abandonment issues. So I get it. But it's like, I can't experience it for them. It's their own experiences in their own life, and they have to go through the process themselves, regardless if I want to hold their hand or not. And sometimes, and when it comes to kids, they don't want us to hold their hands. Right. They don't want us to do it.
Sometimes you don't really. There's no rule book when it comes to parenting.
No, none.
I wish there was, because oh my gosh, that would make it so much easier. Like, okay, step 1.
Lex, you may have a gift of forgiveness. Search deep down to make sure you're not enabling toxic.
I will say, previous Lex, I most definitely was enabling.
Me too.
Most definitely.
Me
As
too.
of right now, I won't say necessarily enabling, because now I will tell you about yourself. what I noticed at first, I thought it was me having patience, which is why
My sister got a lot of patience.
I thought that's what it was, but I quickly learned that it wasn't patience. What it was I kept my mouth closed because I wanted to be loved so much that I wanted people to feel comfortable around me, to where I my mouth closed to what I saw, even if I didn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I done got to a point where I was like, no, no more.
Right. Nope. No,
I
mama.
don't like what you did. Fix it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like that, But like I said, I'm just I'm learning on how to fill other people's cup without mine being empty, and that's where I didn't know how to have that median, which in lack of a better term is just a boundary, pretty much what you say.
And then it's also another thing is that, like, for me, I had to learn, because YouTube, and I would say YouTube is what helped me figure that out, is that because and it's crazy because, like, a lot of people always tell me all the time, and I don't see it, but a lot of people are like, you're such an inspiration, you're motivating me, you're doing this, and I'm like, where? Like, because I feel like, because like everybody else sees the progress, and me, because I'm living through it, I'm like, this shit's taking too long. Like, when is, like, I want my flowers right now.
Right.
But like now I'm starting to realize that, like, once I, be honest with and be in my authentic self and be who I really am and share things that I want to share because it's something I'm passionate about. I wanted to, share it. Like, when you fulfill your purpose, that's how you're able to overflow your cup into other people's cups. You have to fulfill your purpose. So if you want your channel to be something like that, where you want to, like, give some type of message to it, just doing your purpose will help you overflow, have your cup overflow into others, because it's a lot easier, especially when it comes to YouTube, because it's a lot easier because it's different when you're doing it with people in your community or in your family, because people in your family is always going to have something to say. People that you consider friends or associates in your community, they're going to be like, oh, she thinks she bougie. She thinks she better than everybody else. She thinks she all that. And really what it is that the people that have something negative to say or constantly, diminish or try to downplay where you're trying to go is because they're mad that you're evolving past them.
Right. It's an intimidation, and
it's an intimidation. So
express it. So
yeah. So if you want, like, and that's, I don't know where your blankie is. Lord, I don't know where it is. What you doing it? Oh goodness, kids, 3-year-olds. Hello. So yeah, that's something I had to learn with when it came to when I went to school and I figured out what it is that I was passionate about. And then it's crazy because, like, I constantly told myself I want to inspire other people. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to help other people. Yeah. And I didn't know how to do that. And then all this time I've been doing it on my channel, and I'm like, holy crap. And it wasn't until my professors are the ones that pointed it out to me. They're like, you have an audience. Use it to share your passion. And then they're telling me, like, I want to talk about this. And then I'm like, but I don't want to talk about that because it's considered drama, or I'm clout chasing. I'm trying to get views. And they're like, no, stop doing that to yourself. You got the audience. Talk about it. They're like, it's your platform. Like, work for you. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you fulfilled inside, whether people like it or not. He was like, there's so many businesses, so many news outlets, so many TV shows. Everybody, like, not everybody's gonna like what you like. Not everybody's gonna be, and it's something that I told a lot of people about this, is that this is a quote that, like, a motto or whatever, the people that vibe with you is your tribe. The people that vibe with you is your tribe. So if anybody on here wants to start a YouTube channel, there's always somebody gonna vibe with you, and there's always gonna be, and they're gonna be your tribe, and they're gonna stick with you regardless of what you put out there, and regardless of how you feel about how they feel about it. Then not everybody's gonna like it, but you know what? If it makes you happy and if it fulfills you and your purpose, and you feel like you're filling other people's cups, and in the meantime, do it. Don't hold yourself back. Do it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Like I said, I don't know how many videos you've watched on my channel, but that's how I felt when I was making my Strong Mommy Chrissy videos, because I'm sure you guys, I'm not sure if you all watch her or not, I don't know, but I do. And I connect with her on a different level. Like I said, I've shown toxic issues. Like I just see a lot of myself in her.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially, before I reached out to her through my videos, I'm thinking, oh, people don't take this the wrong way. She might take it like I am being negative, or somebody else might think, but I literally had to, it was literally put on my heart. Like,
Yeah.
say something, even if she
Yeah.
might not, because even if it's not for her, it may be for somebody else.
Exactly.
Like,
and exactly, like I realized that a lot of my videos, I just assumed that it was more so for other people, but when I did my one video, I was just like, I'm not gonna do it based off of what other people, or like a message to other people. And that's why I said, when people talk about you, it's not about you, it's about the other people. You know what I mean? Like, don't focus on just that. Focus on what it is that you're doing, because forget what everybody else is saying. Everybody's gonna have a lot to say. But if it's something that is in your heart to talk about it.
Yeah. Like,
and I feel like that's like the best content that you can have out there, because you're being more authentic and you're being real. And people can tell when you're being real and authentic, and people can tell when you're trying too hard or being fake.
Yeah, that's one thing. One thing I learned, they can smell it from a mile away. And,
yeah.
It's crazy because like she didn't necessarily reach out. She didn't reach out to me, which I wasn't expecting her to. But I ended up helping a lot of people through those videos, and I'm not gonna say that's what made me feel better, as if I did it only to gain that, because it wasn't that. I hope it doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
But it definitely, it made me feel better. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It gave me a sense of, it's weird. It's like I could feel God with me right now.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's like, okay, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm like, it feels right. It feels right in your gut. It feels right in your spirit. And I understand what you mean 100%, because every video that I put out, I feel like it was right for me. Whether people agreed with it or not, I put it out there, and that's because I wanted to put it out there, and it felt right for me. Whether and sometimes I do, like, there's times where I do a video and I'm shaking as I'm pressing publish, because I'm freaking out of how people I'm freaking out about how people are going to perceive the video. And there's times where I do that, and then there's times where I'm like, no, I'm not going to post this. And then I'm like, stop being a little girl. Stop, put your panties on and post it.
Yes.
And there's times, and I feel like if you made the initial video and you actually got as far as uploading it on YouTube, publish it, just go with it. Just go get to that point. Just do it.
Yeah. Because if I'm being honest with myself, had I put myself out there the way I should have been, because I've been on YouTube for about 3 years now. If I would have been consistent like I am now, I would have been where I wanted to be.
Oh yeah, because I'm not consistent, so I know that's the reason why I'm not where I want to be, because I'm not consistent enough. And it's hard for me because now I'm working and I'm going to school, so it's like it's hard for me to be able to sit here and actually edit a video. It's easier for me to do lives, and when I do, and then I guess I would say I use editing videos as a clutch, because I be so tired. So when it comes time to do the assignments, I'm like, I'll push that off, and then I'll push off the editing of the videos, because it's kind of like a clutch, because I don't have to actually do a video. I will go 2-3 weeks without uploading a video, because I use that clutch. Like I can't do the videos, so I'm just going to do the homework.
I have to put myself on a schedule, because I'm trying to be entrepreneur out here. Like,
hey, that's what I'm talking about. I just hired somebody to do my merch, because I was trying to do my merch and it was just not coming the way I wanted to. So I was like, Vicki, stop bullshitting. You know you want this. So I hired somebody to do my merch for me, because I just don't have the time. Like, and that's something I'm learning while I have this job, because I'm learning now that companies don't do shit. Like, they don't come up with an idea or something and then just automatically push it out. They actually take their time to plan something. It takes them 6, 7, 8 months for us to actually plan an ad, a commercial, anything, and then we put it out there. And it takes a lot of time. And I'm like, I need to stop doing the same thing to myself. Like, I need to stop putting so much pressure on myself to get things done in one day. And it's unrealistic, because even companies don't do that.
in the world?
Hey everyone coming in. I'm sorry. We're not paying attention. Me, her just yapping, talking.
Okay.
I don't like drama. You can approach them, but they feel like people do. And then that's something that I've said before. Like there's certain people that you can go to, and it does not matter how you say it and what words you choose, it's still gonna come off as an attack. It's still gonna come off the wrong way to them. And they're gonna take it personal regardless of it because they're not ready to receive it. They're not ready to receive the information that you're giving them and ready to make the changes. So when people come at you and be like mad about what you said to them, that's the only reason why, because they're not ready to receive the message and make the changes that they need to make. But sometimes and you might be the person that had to say it for them to get mad and then go sit in the corner somewhere and think about it and then come back and be like, you're right. Because it's it depends on the person that you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like if it's your best friend or a cousin or somebody, it just depends on who it is.
Yeah, it's just more of you just have to understand them. Once you understand them, you won't be easily triggered. That's what I meant. Like,
right. It took me a lot, and being on YouTube helped me with that too, because it's like and it's crazy because like you think sometimes you get past certain things, but then I feel like I got past certain things, but then once I got on YouTube and my channel started growing, I realized that I did not get past that. Now it's like, okay, I got over this part, but that was with these group of people. And now that it's a whole new like space and a whole different, era, like realm for me, now I gotta face this and go through the process again to get over what I'm dealing with.
Wait, what's everybody drinking tonight? What are y'all drinking? Cause I got some Moscato. What y'all drinking?
I got jungle juice. Hold on.
Tell me what y'all got. Where y'all cute glasses at?
You talking about the rack thingy that was on there.
About to pull up real quick.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you mean. He's talking about the little stand for potty seat. So what's up, everybody? We're gonna take a quick break. I'm about to go get me a glass.
Go ahead, girlfriend. Hi. Anybody want to ask some questions or something? While she's gone, I don't know how long she's gonna be gone for.
No, not for you. Don't think about it. I see you eyeballing it.
What are those?
Medicine.
Wow.
Medicine.
Oh, is that your virtual clink?
No, it's not for you. It's not for babies. Not for babies. I'm sorry. Yeah, not for babies. She's trying to I got some Jello shots. She's trying to step.
Turn up. You finna mix that with the wine? Hard liquor?
No, I didn't get no wine. I told you I got jungle juice. I poured it in here.
You trying to? I did that one time.
And you can't have none. I already said no.
With wine and hard liquor, I did that one time. Never again. Never.
No, you get some watermelon.
Let me see. What are the girls? They are actually with their father. They went to their uncle's house. I'm not really sure what's going on, what they got going on. Like I said, my grandmother had passed last night, so I was with my mother and my family.
I'm sorry.
So just I guess what Xavier is doing. He's trying to take them away from the situation because he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it can be stressful. We don't really know how they can react. They never seen us like that before, so it's kind of like he's just. Kind of protecting them. I don't know if it's a situation where we should protect them. Like we clearly just talking about.
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah, I need advice on that end. Because I don't really know
anyone else.
as far as that. What's really going on? But
at least you can escape. from your kids. I got too many. I can't escape from mine. I got too many.
Because their father is an awesome dad. I'm blessed with when it comes.
Oh yeah. So when people think like I'm Superman or I'm doing all this by myself, like no.
I'm blessed when it comes.
Because y'all think I was looking a hot mess before. If I was doing it by myself.
Exactly. I honestly think God gave me what I could handle, because if I would have been a single mom, if I would have been a single mom to the point to where he was a deadbeat, I probably wouldn't have made it.
That's why I say if it wasn't for my husband, I probably would not survive. Because and I'm like, Leon's not no like kind of guy where he just sits on his ass all day. Like no, he's hands on. Like from birth all the way up to now, he is very hands on. So without Leon, I probably would have been like a hot mess, because when my oldest, when she was about 2, we found out that she had like 14, 15 different food allergies. I went to the grocery store and I was in the grocery store crying, bawling my eyes out. And I came home and I just threw the list at him of what she could, like the list that they gave us, what she couldn't eat. And he just looked at it and he was like, you're going about this wrong. And I was like, you do the shopping. I can't have, what am I gonna eat? Like, cause as a parent, you're like, what can I, like when you're looking at this list and mine just like 3 pages long, I'm like, what can she eat? Like, what can this child eat? Like, I'm gonna starve my baby. My baby's gonna starve.
Exactly.
So if like for a good 2 to 3 years, Leon was the only one that did the grocery shopping, because like I was so overwhelmed about it that I didn't know what to do, because I was like, what am I going to feed this child? Like, I don't know how to feed my baby.
Man, I was mentally unstable. That's honestly what it was. It was too much. I wasn't ready. Like I said, when this live is about to be, I ask that you guys don't judge me. Okay? Before I speak. Like I said, I'm using my story to help you guys, or whoever else may come across this live.
Yeah, if you guys are wondering, her link is down in the description box. Go check out her channel. Go subscribe. Go watch some videos and hit some likes. Make sure you're liking this live too, so other people can see it.
Like, if I was very, like I said, very dismissive, very mentally unstable, very like when I tell you I was toxic, I'm gonna say, because I'm still working on it. But yeah, I was very toxic, very toxic. Like I would physically, it wasn't on purpose, but I would physically ignore my daughter because I was so depressed. I didn't know.
Yeah, I've been there.
So, but it was at a time frame. It was a long time frame. I didn't even know I was depressed before I even had my daughter. And it kind of got worse. And it was so much. Like, pretty much, if I would have got on YouTube back then, all the reactors would have had a field day with me. Let me put you like that. Okay? Like, y'all would have had a field day. So, that's why I react to Strong. Not react. I'm sorry. I relate to Strong Mama Chrissy and Jasmine.
Yeah,
women.
I know, and I can relate to them too. And it's crazy because like I can relate to Jazzy being a single mom with small kids, because when me and Leon were separated, that's how it was with me. The only difference was that I had Leon in my life. You know what I mean? So it was like every other weekend he would take Justice. And then eventually, slowly, he decided to take all the kids every other week, because that was just like, it was just something that we agreed on. But I can understand where she's coming from, because at first it wasn't like that. At first for like a good month, because you know how it is when you break up with somebody and it's the drama between that person because emotions are high. So for a while it wasn't like that. So it was just me by myself struggling, trying to take care of 4 kids by myself and working, and with no car, with all these kids, trying to use the bus, take them to daycare, get on the bus to go to another. So I can relate to that. And then when it comes to Strong Mommy Chrissy, I can relate to her because like I've been in her shoes before. That's why everybody talks about her evictions. And I'm like, look me up. I have a whole bunch of evictions. What you gonna say about that?
Right.
Doesn't matter. Like, okay, like I can understand there's certain situations that they're in, and I get it, and I've been there. So it's like I can't sit here and knock another mom. And then a lot of people probably misunderstood what I said in my last live about them about their content not always being 100, and it's like, it's not that, it's just that, and this is just a part of the YouTube game. But like a lot of people, in my mind, when when Divine said it, I was thinking in my mind like the titles, the clickbaits. So it's like, you know, a lot of people take that the wrong way and think that their stories are not real, but really it's just a clickbait, and you guys fall for it. And that was the whole point, so that you can click on the video so that you can watch. So that's why when I said that it's not real, I mean like the clickbait is not real, but the actual content that they're showing is genuine and real. But you know, don't get mad at you because you got like, don't get mad because you got and you got clicked on the video. But what they share is real. It's legit.
And let's just be honest, from one YouTuber to another, even though we're not out here trying to be rich from it, it's still like people, for whatever reason, they are attracted to drama, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
that is that is very real. The more positive you are, I don't want to say you attract less people, because honestly, I've gotten to a point to where I could care less on how many people. I never really.
I'd be happy with my 6K. Like, thank you.
Right.
I'm good with where I'm at. Like, if I grow, I grow. But if I don't, I'm okay with that. Because you see who's in my chat. These are my day ones. Like, these are my regulars all the time. And I appreciate having conversations with them. A lot of my subscribers that be in the comments, a lot of them I talk to outside of YouTube. It's not just we have a relationship in the comments. Like, we actually have a real legit conversation. And I'm more open and more honest with them about who I am outside of YouTube, because there's certain things that you do not want to share on YouTube, and there's certain things that people don't want to put in the comments,
right?
Which is understandable. So it's like when they come to me and talk to me and they're like, I can totally relate to this, or this is what happened, and I'm like, and I share more about my life and my situation, and they're like, I can understand where you're coming from. I totally relate to that. So for me, that's why I said people that vibe with you, that is your tribe, and regardless of how many views you get and how many, you know, it's always going to be the same regardless, because it's going to be the same people. And the more that you grow and the more people that come, the more you're going to get drama, the more you're going to get the comments, the negative comments. No, you're not blocked. We're just you're not blocked. We're just ignoring the comments because we're bad hosts. We're being bad hosts.
So
sorry. Like, we're not ignoring the comments. I apologize.
I need to get on live more often, I guess. Clearly, because
when I do lives with other people, I completely forget about y'all in the comments. I'm sorry. But when it's just me by myself, it's easier for me to interact with people. But when I'm on live with somebody and I'm talking to somebody on live, I want it to be just the conversation. But I know you guys are talking. I'm sorry.
Right. I apologize. I guess what we should probably do is every so often somebody look off to the side and be like,
right, I know. We're talking about it.
But
hey Kay. So hey everyone coming in. I know this, I don't know how long you want to be on here because the last live was like 4 hours long.
Honestly,
I was thinking until we pretty much done. Because I was like, as long as the conversation is flowing and we're talking.
I know, you just we chilling, girl. Okay. I guess my next question, I guess since we're on the whole topic of the toxic mother topic, what specific traits have you seen that used to be toxic? That you've seen, I guess, that you've seen in yourself that you picked up? How do I ask this question?
I think I know what you mean. At the one toxic trait that I realized that I picked up on was, I want to say when my kids are talking to me, and I'm so irritated, and I'm like, and I know it's my bipolar disorder, and sometimes when I'm super manic and I haven't slept, my kids will say something to me and I'll just snap. Like, I just like, get out my face or whatever. I don't want to hear it. Like, I'll say stuff like that. And I noticed that that's a trigger. And I don't know if it's a trigger or if it's just like my mental health. And I don't know. It's just weird. But I noticed that. And so like sometimes I'll go back to my kids and I'll be like, I apologize. I didn't mean to snap on you. It's just, this is what's going on.
Too. That's interesting. I thought it was my my one track mind. Because like how I said before, I don't know how to multitask. When I'm doing something, like say if I'm cooking, and then Anaya You know how 5-year-olds are. They want to be with mommy. They want to do what mommy's doing. Like, mommy, what's that? Mommy, what's that? Mommy, what's that? Mommy, what's that? I'm like, oh, I'm trying to cook.
I was just
shut up.
right, and I was just saying this in my live the last time. Like, if you watch in the beginning, the kids started crowding around me, and I'm claustrophobic. Like, I don't even like wearing a mask, but I do it because I care about other people. But like, my kids started crowding around me, and that was something I realized when they were babies that it bothered me because I would try to escape to the bathroom, and then here they come. And then they're all around me in the bathroom. And you know the bathroom's small. And you know the toilet's only so big. Like, it's only so much space in the bathroom. So I would like freak out. Like, I would freak out. It'd be 4 little people all crowding around me. Mommy. And I'm sitting here like, get out! Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not something like intentional towards them, but it's just like my own anxiety. It's my own mental health. Hey, get out. Now you gotta get out. Bye. Adios. What did I say? Now you want to get your feelings hurt. Oh my God. Go upstairs. Bye.
It did. It did definitely change our lives personally. I honestly feel like it was for the better, though.
Yeah, I think for the better. For me, is for the better. And it's crazy because, like, I feel like for me, it forced me when they were small. It forced me to be aware of it and to have more patience. Because even my mother-in-law, she'd be like, you got more patience than me because I would have popped them in the mouth real quick. Like, and then, but that's just because she grew up in a different era than I did. But I have more patience with my kids. Like, they can continue to be disrespectful over and over again. And I will continue to be like I'll be nice about it instead of like automatically like a reaction. And there's times where I've done it where like the toxic part of it was where like, because you know how, like I said before, like the old sayings where you can't say certain things, what, yeah, you know what I mean? So it was like a reaction. So if my kid says something to me, I just be like, boop, and then they look at me and then I feel like shit because I'm like, yo, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I did not want to hit you, but I felt like you was trying to be like a grown woman in the street and you was trying to fight. Like, it was just like a reflex. Like, it was not intentional. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. Sorry. Like,
let me see that's one issue that I have too. I'm trying to see what's a different thing that I noticed that I used to do. My toxic thing, one of the things
Kina is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. One of my toxic things is I would put expectations on my children. So I would expect them to understand and know certain things without me explaining it to them. So, say for example, if I just came home from a long day of work, Ubering all day. For those who don't know, I'm Uber Lyft driver. So, Ubering all day. I come home, I'm tired. Naya full of energy out of daycare. She want to be jumping and playing Dance Revolution all day.
Oh yeah,
right. Feel like it. So I expect her to know that.
Yeah.
You know, like not literally expect, but you know what I mean. It's just
you know, like it's like, okay, it's time to wind down. Like it's starting to get dark. You should know better, but they don't understand that.
And what ended up happening was because she didn't understand that, and because I wasn't communicating with her, it kind of it frustrated me to the point to where I would literally just go into my room and close out from my whole family. I would be in my room all day, whether that would be on my phone, on TV, laptop, something, whatever that would physically take my mind away from whatever was going out there, whether I realized that I was ignoring her. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know that.
That caused her to,
like Mommy on the Budget said, she said that she shuts down and want to be done with the world. I've done that. And I think that's also my bipolar too, because like it's weird. Like I have my depressive states where I don't want to get out of bed at all. I'm not getting out the bed. I'm not showering. I'm not brushing my teeth.
Girl,
and people think it's a joke, but like seriously, self-care is a #1 issue when it comes to mental health. And a lot of people think it's like it's some funny thing to talk about or to talk shit about somebody, but it's a legit thing. I do struggle with self-care because of my depression, because of my bipolar. And there's times where I just want to zone out the world and just be in my phone or, work, like keep myself busy. You know what I mean? Like do something to keep yourself busy that has nothing to do with what you really need to do.
Yeah. I've been so depressed to where I literally didn't want to shower. So I definitely know. It's like I didn't even care about
Yep.
me at all. I actually physically hated to wake up. Like I was mad that I woke up. Like I wish I could go back
Yes, I've been there.
to go back to sleep on purpose. You ever slept so much you tired of sleeping, or you force yourself to sleep because you tired of
I know exactly what you're feeling.
Girl, I've been there. I don't know if y'all have been there, chat, but I have been there. And
you know what? Better late than broke. For a long time, I used to say that, like, hurt people. But I realized that it's really generational because I always assumed that that's what it was. But I found out that through my own, and I don't want to say too much because, it doesn't just affect me, it affects other people in my family. But it's generational. People don't understand, like they don't know how, because for generations, and especially in Black communities, I mean, it was taught to us how to stay shut and don't talk. If the master don't tell you to open your mouth, then you can't open your mouth. If you can't do this, then you getting lashes on your back. It's something that was generational, like been taught down to us for years. And so our parents and their parents and their parents took it on as a way on how to discipline us because they thought that was normal. That's how the master taught us how to, discipline us. So therefore, we're going to teach it to our kids, which is not the case because before slavery, we did not beat our kids to that point.
That's interesting. That's interesting, actually, when you start doing research. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
And I realized that with my own family research and knowing what's happened to my mom and what's happened to, before that and that. So it's like, it makes sense why people do the things that they do. And it's not necessarily because they're hurt. It's because that's just what they were taught and they don't know any better. And it's like, how can I fault them and be angry with them and hold the grudge against them when they don't know any better? That's just what they were taught.
Exactly. You were once a child who was
right
traumatized just like me.
Right.
Let's see, yes, Vicki, my depression. I'm trying to unlearn it.
Girl, it's been hard. With the pandemic, you were so right. The pandemic has opened my eyes to a lot of things. And a lot of you guys don't know this, but the reason I was gone for so long was because I was suicidal and I had to get help. And when I was saying, like, I want to pack my stuff up and leave, that was me, literally. That was my bipolar literally talking about leaving my family. And I never verbally said it, but I was thinking I was suicidal. And I had to take a break from YouTube. And that's why it was so sporadic on YouTube for a while once the pandemic hit, because it was really hard for me because it wasn't just me dealing with kids at home. It was me being aware and realizing my faults and my toxic, traits and what I was doing wrong, because it was a whole different dynamic with the kids being home all the time. So I was able to see more and be aware of what was going on and what was wrong with my kids. And it made me realize, like, well, damn, it's really my fault. Like, this is why we're in this situation, because it's me. I did this. So for the longest time when I'm talking to you guys about my parenting issues, or I'm not talking about the parenting issues, I'm telling y'all about me, what I did wrong. Like, I'm telling y'all about where I need to work at, and this is the issue that I'm dealing with. And for the most part, I'm not really asking for feedback. I'm more so just expressing how I feel because of what's going on.
Right. Let me see if there's another toxic trait that I can, because I know it's a long. I'm over here trying to make it seem like I got a whole long list. But I'm silly, y'all, by the way.
Another toxic trait that I picked up was telling my kids that they were lying or how to lie.
You teaching them how to lie?
I was taught how to lie.
Explain that.
Explain that. I didn't it wasn't when I was a kid, my aunt, she used to go to this bar and then she'd be like, if such and such calls, tell them I'm such and such. I'm over here. Instead of at the bar, instead of being honest and telling them that she's at the bar, she'd be like, tell them I'm over here instead. So as a child, I was taught how to lie. And for a while there, I think it was a toxic trait that I picked up on, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize it until my kids started picking up on it when they were smaller. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I need to change that because now I'm starting to see that they're picking, and then I didn't realize it until they started lying. And then I realized that it was like little small white lies. Like, and mind you, go ahead.
I'm glad that you said that, because have you ever wondered why, like, where do kids learn how to lie from? Have you ever wondered that? And no one ever thinks to think of themselves. Like, we automatically just think, oh, that must be the devil or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And it didn't dawn on me because I tell people a lot. Like, I mean, when you talk to certain people on the phone, like your family, your cousins, your friends, you can tell little white lies because you want people all up in your business and might not realizing that my kids is all up in my face, all up in my grill, listening to every word I'm saying. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Like, and that's something I picked up and learned from, you know, the adults in my life, and I carried it on into my child and to my parenting, not realizing that my kids, that's what, and then it's crazy because like it didn't dawn on me until they started stealing, and then they started lying to me, and then I'm like, why you gotta lie to my face? Like, why you gotta do this?
Kids are,
but then it dawned on me that it was because of me. Because I started paying attention. I'd be more aware of my kids all up in my mouth while I'm having adult conversations.
That makes you know what? It actually makes you put in perspective that your kids, they don't go by what you tell them. They go by what you show them at the end of the day. It doesn't.
Yep.
If you notice, that's kind of how we're brought up. Do what I say, not as I do. And it's
and it never worked.
And I end up doing what you do and not what you say.
And that's why I try I try to not do that with my kids because I knew it didn't work for me. You know what I mean? So like I felt like I can sit here and say all day, every day, you know, stop stealing from me, stop stealing from me, stop stealing from me. But that's not going to change the real issue. The real issue is they want independence and they want responsibility. You know what I mean? So they want to have the responsibility and the independence to have their own money. So that's why they're stealing from me. So I had to stop, like, make a change in it for me to be like, okay, so this is a compromise. You get your own money. Don't ask me for no deodorant though, but you can get your you can get your own money.
I used to do that with my mom. I used to be
and now it's like it's something that I had to learn for myself because it's like I can tell you all day long to stop stealing, but and growing up for me, if I stole, I just got my ass whooped and there was no conversation and you stuck and I was stuck in my room for hours. But now it's like, I'm not going to do that. I want to sit down and have a conversation with you. What is it that you really want? Why are you stealing from me? Because it's not really about attention. Because if you want attention, I keep telling y'all to get in my bed and come cuddle with me, but y'all give me the weird funky faces. So it's like, so now when you actually listen to your kids, you actually understand what it is that they want. And the stealing is usually not about attention. It's about something else.
I don't know, because I'm about to put myself on blast again. So when I was younger, I used to have I'm not going to say a stealing problem. I don't want to say a problem because it wasn't necessarily in my character, but I know that I did it and I knew it was wrong. But at the time, I didn't know why I was doing it. I just thought it was me, you know. I was doing my whole soul searching thing and stuff like that. I came to realize that
You done?
Yeah.
on how to keep my parents' attention, because I'm the oldest, and you know, even though parents, they don't do it on purpose, whether we want to or not.
Right.
It's usually due to, you know, we all have different personalities.
Right.
Just like anyone else outside in the world, you're gonna work with different people. So same goes for your children. Like I said, as a kid, I didn't know that, you know, versus now. So what I would try to do, since they weren't pretty much accepting for me just being me as Alexis,
Yeah.
attention by being bad.
Yeah.
But what that did was, since they didn't know how to communicate with me, they saw my bad actions and they only did was discipline me. What happened was, in turn, how that made me feel. I'm like, well, I know why you're whooping me, because I did something bad. But that's not, you know what I mean? But
that's not the real reason why I'm doing it. Yeah.
So what it does, it creates resentment because you don't really know how to express that.
Yeah.
And then imagine how many times I did bad things over and over and over again, and I kept getting disciplined for it. And had they stopped for a second and just came and talked to me, and like, oh, this is just Alexis, instead of, if they really knew me, had a relationship with me, they would have known that something's off and something's wrong with me. They would have came and talked to me about it, and then had we could have fixed that. It wouldn't even gotten there. But because it didn't happen, which I don't fault them for again, but because it didn't happen, it resulted in me constantly being disciplined. It got to a point to where I felt abandoned, unloved, and unaccepted, to where I physically tried to replace my family.
Oh, I've been there, because I used to steal, but for the longest I didn't understand why I was stealing, and I always assumed it was because I wanted attention, or it was because I wasn't getting the love that I was looking for, or it was because I was missing my mom or my dad. But really, it was a way for me to be like, look, I'm talking to you about what's going on, and you're ignoring me. So the only way I can get your attention about what's really going on in your household, outside your household, you know what I mean? This is the only way I can get your attention. And I was stealing to try and get people to, and then I'm not talking about like these, like my family. I'm talking about teachers. I'm talking about counselors. I'm talking about, therapists. I'm talking about these people, like, and then, when I tried to commit suicide, I tried to commit suicide to escape. It wasn't to literally kill myself. It was to escape the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a lot of people think that you do stuff for attention, but there's really a deeper issue underneath it, underneath the whole situation.
And whatever it is, pretty much I realized that I've been crying for help since about probably age 6 or age 7.
Yep.
And the sad thing is like how, like I said, I didn't even, a lot of people, they don't really pay attention to their kids. Like really do. They really don't.
Yeah.
And a lot, like your kids can be depressed. A lot of things that my parents used to do that I couldn't stand was they felt like I had no life issues because I was a child. So they're like, oh, I'm the one that has to go to work. I'm the one that has to pay the bills. I'm the one. How could you possibly feel any type of depression or anything?
Right.
We're humans. And we also go through our own stuff like bullies, self-esteem.
Yep.
Figuring out who we are, body changes, love, sex.
That's why when I saw the signs within my 14-year-old, I immediately got her help, because I saw myself in her. Like, I know the signs. Like, I remember what it was like when I was her age. So for me, it was like, no, you're getting help. You're going to go see a therapist. You're going to go see somebody. And because I didn't want it to be where it was like, because I don't want my kids to think like, because I know how it is when you're a child, and even though your parents is like, it's an open door, you judgment-free zone, you can say whatever it is that you want to say, but you know how it is with kids. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of being judged. And then there's some things where you already expressed that it's a hell no, and so they don't want to do what they want to do, so they don't talk to you about it. So it's like, I'd rather you talk to somebody, whether if it's me, a therapist, Nana, your aunt, whoever. Like, talk to somebody. And then, like I said earlier, like sometimes, the issues that she has with me is like, it's more so of the fact that you're not old enough. I'm sorry. You're not old enough to make those decisions. When you 16, 17, 18, then you can make those choices. But it's not age appropriate for me to allow you to be that, to do the things that you want to do. It's not, I couldn't even do those things when I was that age. So like, it's not happening. All right, let me go check the comments, because I know I'm ignoring y'all over here. I'm sorry. It's called frustration. We love our children and family. We get it, and it is frustration. And then the thing about frustration is that we don't know how to communicate ourselves, because we were taught not how to communicate. We were taught to be quiet, to be seen and not heard. So us as moms, because we can't verbalize the way we feel, and sometimes it's hard to verbalize that to a child that's 1, 2, 3, 4, who don't understand what we're dealing with. So we get frustrated, and then the child's frustrated, and then we're frustrated, and then it's just a lot. Now, when it comes to family, that's a different story, because they know better, and then it's just like you just playing dumb. Like sometimes it's just like you're playing dumb.
Yeah, some people, like I said, some people they choose to ignore it. Some people they don't.
Yeah.
But you have to know who's choosing and who's just afraid to look at it. It's two different.
Yeah.
Did I say, is that a right term? I hope y'all understand what I was trying to say when I said afraid to look at it. Not literally trembling in your boots, like not here like that, but more like a face the reality. You're afraid to face the reality. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Y'all are so loud.
Let me see. What was another toxic trait that I noticed in myself? I would be very dismissive to my children's feelings. So, well, at the time it was just Anaya. I learned at a time. Okay, how do I put it? When I was going through my toxicity, it was just Anaya. I had JoJo recently, about a year ago. So I'm at a different place now, but JoJo won't get the same experience as Anaya because I figured it out now.
Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
So
it's the same with me. Like I said earlier, like my oldest four are their upbringing was different because there was so many of them. You know what I mean? So like, and then with Araya, she's 3, so it's like 3 then 10. So it's a 7-year gap.
Let's see, that really break my heart. I'm sorry. What did I say? Because I said a lot.
I know, right? So like my 3-year-old is not going to be treated the same way as my older ones because she doesn't understand as much as the older ones do. Right. So when a lot of people like my experience, and then I'm saying this because it's already on my channel, that people were upset about my Christmas video because I didn't buy my older kids stuff, is because they were stealing from me. But I only bought that the little one, and they were like, "Oh, you forced them to watch her open her presents." I'm like, no, they knew what it was. They understood why they wasn't getting nothing, and they chose to come downstairs and watch their sister open presents. But even if that was the case, then mind your business. like that's just how I feel about it. Because over time, I built a sense of like, not everything needs to be talked about on YouTube. Not everything needs to be, expressed or discussed on YouTube. You can perceive it how you want to perceive it, but don't tell me what I should and should not do. Don't expect me to be up on this pedestal when I don't even know you from a can of paint.
True. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of open to criticism more so now. At first, I would be more, I guess you can say, not teachable because I was so defensive.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yep.
Everything someone told me, I automatically viewed it as negative.
Right.
But I had to realize that everything people tell me isn't bad.
It's not to hurt you, but it's to help you.
Right. And I had to realize, like, okay, especially if I'm hearing it more than once, it's something to it. You don't want to give anyone the power to make you feel, have a different perception of yourself. You know what I mean? You they know yourself.
Right.
At the same time, I wouldn't say ignore it, but at least like, let me see exactly what you talk. At least be open in mind to see.
Oh yeah. I'm open-minded to it, and that's why it was hard for me to adapt to being in the house that we're in now, because for, I want to say 6 to 8 months we were in a hotel. So it was like, and I don't know, a lot of people know this, but it only takes 28 days for you to form a habit. So
really?
Yeah, it only takes 28. So mind you, 6 months is a long time to be in a hotel and then forming those habits that we had. So to go from the hotel to a whole new state, to a state that none of the kids wanted to be in, I didn't want to be in, so, and then to come into this house and then to like have all these series of issues that was going on with the kids. And maybe now I can look back and see, like, explains why, because they were dealing with, trauma, or they were dealing with like a short-term trauma of like all these different transitions, and there was nothing, like there was no foundation for them. And shout out to my sister-in-law, because she's the one that told me years ago. She's like sometimes you just, because she came to me, she was like, I don't think it was her, I think her mom was saying something to me, Nana, and she was like, sometimes you take things as a personal attack, and not everything is what you think it is. It's not a personal attack. Like, just listen, and then if you don't agree with it, then you can speak your mind, then you can say something. But she was like, don't take everything what people say the wrong way. And I'm like, and I think for me, it was hard for me to get out of that because even when she told me that, it still took me a while to get out of that. It took me a while.
That as sensitive or just a negative mind frame? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like what I'm trying to understand.
For me, it was a negative mind frame because my whole life I was told that I was never going to be nothing. I was going to be just like my mother in a mental institution on Social Security. I was never going to be good enough. Like all my life, I was constantly told that I was never going to amount to anything or be good enough. So for me, it was a negative mindset because I'd never foreseen myself to go further than where I was stuck at in my community. Like I never saw myself actually attempt to pack up my kids and go to another state because I was always told that I would never go nowhere. I would never be anything. So I think that's for me, that's what it is for me. For other people, it might be because you're sensitive to certain things.
I think in my case, I think it's kind of both. I think it depends. Maybe as a child,
I wasn't sensitive as a child. I would cuss you the fuck out.
As a child. Now, as an adult, I would say more of a negative mind frame. I wasn't necessarily told that I wasn't going to be anything, but it was kind of like that.
No, that didn't help Johnny.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, okay, like the dynamic that I had between me and my parents was like you're not there for me as far as like the emotional, the good parts, but you're there for me to make sure that I'm still a virgin, that my grades are up, that I'm not out here being a hoe, that I go to church every Sunday or actually 3 days a week or all 7 days of the week, closed up the church and open it. I was so naive. And it was kind of like almost like imagine a military home without the love part. So no, they didn't tell me that I wasn't going to be anything, but because they were only there to tell me to get my shit together when my shit wasn't together.
Yeah.
It internally made me be hard on myself to where
Mm-hmm.
I automatically am too hard on myself.
Right.
It makes sense, like how I was talking about the YouTube channel, how I could have been somewhere, but because
Mm-hmm.
I believe in myself, I didn't even realize that, like, that's why I'm so hard on myself. Why I feel like I should be a better mom, or why I feel like I should be a better wife, or you get up. In reality, I'm just relaxing. It's nothing wrong with relaxing. I literally feel like for example, if my child's father, if I'm sitting down, he's doing the not the momming, but you know what I mean. He's doing the momming. I'm relaxing. I literally can't even sit down without negatively feeling you need to get up, you need to do something. I can't even relax because I feel like I'm a bum. And it's just like, why? Like my friend literally had to tell me on the phone. She was like, "Why? You're not a bum, Lex. You're just relaxing. You need that. It's perfectly fine." But I automatically registered that in my head. Like I have to be mom of the year, otherwise I'm not nothing.
And that's something that my mother-in-law had to tell me because, like, for the longest time, like, she even seen it. Like, when we first moved back up here and was living with her and my father-in-law, like, I was out buying stuff for the kids. I was making sure Leon had clothes. I was making sure everybody had something. And then I didn't have nothing. And then when we moved up here, like, when we moved into the house, as my subscribers can tell you, I still did not buy nothing for myself. Like, and then people assume because I wear makeup or I have makeup. No, that's stuff that I had previously owned. People assume because I had laptops or, cell phones and cameras, stuff that I previously owned before I became homeless. And if I try to pawn it, they laughing at me in my face talking about this ain't worth nothing. Like, because it just depends on where you go and how old, because my stuff was old. Like, it's not like I had brand new equipment. You know what I mean? It's not like I had brand new, makeup. All that stuff was old, and the stuff that I had for years that I earned. So when we moved into this house, like, it literally took one whole year for me to buy something for myself. And it really took Nana, like, me and her was in the Goodwill, and I was looking for a coat, and then she was like, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, "I'm looking for a coat." She was like, "If you don't take your ass across the street to Burlington to buy you some clothes instead of sitting in," she's like, "You need to stop doing that. You need to stop, like, not taking care of yourself. Like, you need to start buying stuff for yourself instead of doing it, like, you know, taking care of everybody else. And she's like, and I see you do that all the time. Like, as soon as you get a huge sponsorship check, you go blow it on the kids, and then you have nothing for yourself. But then the kids disrespect you, or they steal, or they're doing something that, you know, they didn't deserve it. And she's like, and I see that all the time. And she's like, you need to stop doing it. From now on, you need to buy something for yourself. And that's something that I forget to do. And even then, like now, like I forget to take a moment to myself. And I think that's why I'm so manic all the time, is because I never have a moment to myself. Like I'm constantly on the go. So when I do have a moment to where I sit down, I can't shut myself down. Like my brain is constantly on the go. Like I can't shut down fully. I'm still here. I'm just gonna move to outside so I can smoke a cigarette.
Oh, it got to the point to where I literally, it's like I literally felt like I was my own worst enemy. Like I literally had to change my mindset. Like, how do I explain it? It's almost like I have to learn how to, I guess, pat my own self on the back. I guess if that makes sense. Like it got so bad that I looked for other people to pat me on the back. I can't even do it for myself. Like even if I was to be like, you did good, Lex. You monetized. You finally monetized. It's almost like that. Okay, and unless someone else says, okay, you monetized, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm something now. You know, someone else acknowledges me. And it's just like I need to do that for myself. You know.
Yeah, you do. And that's something that was for me because like, and it's crazy because like I know a lot of people probably assumed that I was gonna go like all out for my graduation, and I didn't do nothing for my graduation. I was still up. I was literally up for 3 days, still working on schoolwork the day that graduation happened. And for me, it was just like, I know I didn't, and I'm excited that I didn't, but at the same time, it's like the work ain't done. Like I still don't feel complete. I don't feel like I accomplished anything. And that was just me because like I know how far I wanted to go and I know where I wanted to be at. But it's like, and even everybody, they were like, you need to slow down and enjoy the moment. Like you worked your ass off to get here, enjoy it, have fun, get drunk, have parties, like do something. And I really didn't want to because I was still doing work. I was still like 6 to 5. It wasn't until like 2 weeks later that I actually like celebrated my graduation because I couldn't. I really couldn't. But like you said, like sometimes you have to celebrate yourself instead of trying to seeking other people to celebrate you, because some people just gonna be bitter and salty that you doing it and they not.
Yeah. Yes. It's crazy that you said that because like I don't know. Like I consider myself to still be a small YouTuber. It's actually gotten to the point to where
Actually you're not. Well, you're
like
what you're called is a micro influencer. That's what you're called. And that's something I learned. Like once you get past the 10,000, then you're considered a macro influencer. And then once you get past the 50 to 100,000, then you're considered an actual influencer. And then once you get beyond like the 500K and all that, then you're a mega influencer. It's weird. It's weird how they do it in the advertising world. How they categorize us.
I literally like I still consider myself to be a small YouTuber, not even necessarily I barely consider myself to be a YouTuber. Like it's one of those things.
People come up to me and I be walking around with kids, or I go to the park, or I go to the corner store, and people like, you do YouTube videos, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, make sure you tell everybody.
Right. And it's like the crazy thing is like how I think of myself, other people see me as more than that. And
right.
Sometimes I wish I could see what they see.
Right. And it's like I don't see myself on that pedestal. And it's hard for me because I feel like I'm still like a regular person like everybody else.
Right. Like I'm not going around, hey, I'm a YouTuber. No, I'm an Uber and Lyft driver. And I occasionally do this. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I like to do.
I know, and it's funny because like the guy that at the corner store, he was like, I never see you because I usually go in the store a lot because like I don't buy snacks at the corners, like at the grocery store, like at BJ's or something, because it's not, my kids are too big now. Like those little mini snacks that come in the boxes, that's not enough. That's not gonna fill my kid up nothing. Like one that probably fill up a leg. Like, that's not nothing. They'd be like, can I get another snack? So I always go to the corner store to buy them a whole bunch of junk for that day or, you know, as a treat. And he's like, how come I don't see you? I'm working. Like, I work. Like, you're not going to see me every day. I work. I have a job. And he never knew what I did because I never told him what I did because I'm like, out of respect for his store, because I mean, I like him and his people. I was like, out of respect for them, I never went into the store with the camera and tried to vlog inside the store or anything like that. So when they told me his mom was like, oh, so you sing on YouTube? And I was like, no, I don't do that either. Like, I don't think,
Right. I actually have to start embracing it. Like,
no, you know what you want? You want sleep.
girl, she was like, girl, you are an influencer. Like, do you not even understand? And I was like, maybe I don't, like, I'm the type of person to where even if I was to be like really mega, I still will be like, man, I get food stamps like everybody else.
Right.
Like, that's just me. Like, I will still, like, I've always been the type of person that, man, I don't care how much money I have.
Like, I swore up and down, like, I wasn't going to qualify anymore because of my job and because I got the economic disaster loan advance. But welfare was like, no, we're going to calculate this differently. This is not what you normally make. So we're going to do this. And I'm like, and they're like, you still qualify. And I'm like, hey, and if that's what you say, I ain't going to question it again. I ain't going to tell you to recalculate that.
Right. I will still be in Rainbow City Trends. Okay. I don't know where you from?
We got City Trends and we got Rainbows, and that's where my girls. And it's crazy because I was buying my girls clothes from Children's Place and like Old Navy and stuff, and they were like, "No, we want to go to Rainbows," and I was like, "What? Say no more."
$3 outfits, man. Y'all bet.
Say no more. And so every time I go downtown and I'd be like, "I'm going to Rainbows. Y'all want to come?" And then sometimes they'd be like, "No, we don't want to come." And then I come back with bags of clothes, and they'd be like, "Well, did you get me some?" No, I offered for y'all to come.
I'm sorry.
That's good.
She said a lady works in my corner store and she's addicted to drugs now. So that's how you know she's using the drugs when she puts
my neighbor, he works at the corner store. He's an addict, and that's why I like the guy at the corner store because like he knows the guy has issues and he tells him, he's like, man, you need to get off that stuff. You need to get off that stuff. Like and then like, you know, some people they usually push away the homeless and the people that are addicts and stuff like that. And the guy at the corner store, he's really nice. You know, and he tells like he gives them jobs and he lets them work around the store to earn a couple dollars and stuff. And then he tells them all, he'd be like, if you're gonna, and he'll pay them, like he pays them underneath the table. And he's like, you promise that you're not gonna use this on drugs.
Girl, okay, so I just got on the Fashion House. I
never heard of that.
Fashion. I don't know if it's what state are you in or city?
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in like an hour from Philly.
I don't know that. I don't know where that's
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm like an hour away from Philadelphia.
Okay, so I'm in Houston. I'm sure you know where that's at.
Okay.
So Fashion House is a place in I don't know if it's everywhere, but I know it's in Houston. And they're kind of like if you ever heard of Fashion Nova on Instagram? Yeah, they're kind of like a Fashion Nova. I don't think they're as expensive, or maybe they're like around the same, but they pretty much have the same fashion. But I like them. They're really nice. So I have been there. Mommy on a budget. And her nose will be red when she opens the door. Oh, she used cocaine? Is that what she's? Oh, so you're in Houston? Okay, mommy on the budget. You know what? I actually want to meet some of my followers.
And see, I've been trying to find people that's like live near me so they can come to my house. Because I told them, I was like, if you live near me, and since I don't have a car, if you drive to me, I will pay for food. I will do it. I will be the one to set up the video and everything. And if you want a video for yourself, for your channel, I will record for you, take pictures, even if it's a headshot, because I do photography too. So it's like, you can come down and it could be a whole day of business where we're doing actual work and we're vlogging and we're doing videos, and I'll pay for the food. And if you are traveling really far, like I am Kiva, she lives all the way out in Detroit. And I told her, if you come all the way over here, don't even pay for a hotel. You can stay in my house because I got enough room. So like it's stuff like that, because I feel like it's important for people to not think that like I'm not trying to, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm making you go out your way to
She's been
come see me, and I don't show any hospitality, if that makes sense.
right. Oh, hold on 1 second. Sorry, you guys.
It's fine. So I'm gonna try and answer some questions. I'm gonna go all the way back because I know I was ignoring some people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm on live right now. I'll be back. I'll be there in a little bit. Okay. Okay. Call me before you leave. Okay. All right. Bye. Sorry, guys. My sister had to FaceTime me. Like I told you, my mom's mother had passed last night, so I'm kind of just spending the night at my mom's house. Being
Oh, I'm not scared to travel no more. I'm not scared to travel. I just don't have a vehicle, and you know that. My sister's like, stop being scared. I'm not scared to travel. If I had a car, if I had a vehicle, I would.
Stop being scared to travel. We can go on the plane. What does it feel like to get your tubes tied? Because I'm thinking about it, but at the same time, I don't want.
too.
I want to have another. Well, okay. I'm be honest.
So this is something that we were talking about earlier. My sister said that, like, if you get your tubes tied, because she only has 2, and she was talking about getting her tubes tied, and she was saying like that. What if she meets the right guy? You know what I mean? And want to get married and they have kids? Well, you can actually do IVF if eventually at some point.
I hear that's really expensive, like 20 grand.
Because if you get your tubes tied, you still produce eggs. It just doesn't. It's not able to pass down. That's all.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I don't want to do that.
You.
See, and that's why I'm scared to do that, because I'm scared that my period's going to get worse. I'm scared that I'm going to get worse, more moody, more irritable during that time of the month.
My goodness, I never heard it removed. I only heard it being burnt or tied, I think, right? Or clipped.
I want them to remove the whole uterus. I don't even want a period.
I heard
that's why I tried the Depo shot, and the Depo shot was awful for me. The Depo shot was like, no, you thought.
I didn't like the Depo shot at all. I had no period for, let me see, the first month, no period at all for a whole month. And then I had one period that lasted for a month. And then when that got done, then I had no period for the rest.
No, not for me. I'd be spotting, and then I get a period, then I don't get a period, and then I'd be spotting, and then I get a whole period for the whole month, like for a whole 2 weeks. And I'm like, I'm done. And then it made my bipolar worse, and like pretty much like forced my bipolar to come out to where like I had no choice but to get help, because that Depo shot actually makes your depression worse. It's been scientifically proven.
Really?
Yeah, that the Depo shot can make any mental illness that you have worse. So that's a no, girl. I think I'm just gonna stick to what is it? The rhythm method, where you just track your cycles, because ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm already crazy as it is now. I ain't got time to be even more.
I'm solo dolo. I'm separated, putting my foot down. I got me some toys.
Sometimes I be thinking like I should get a divorce to Leon, because, and that's the reason why I never got my tubes tied. It was because after I had Justice, he said no. After I had Journey, he said no, and it sucks because like I was under the age of 30, and in most states most of them have to agree with, like they only can go along with it unless it's with your husband, and if your husband says no, you can't get your tubes tied. I was mad.
Wow.
I was mad.
Wow. Dang, that. Well, I guess I can see why they would say that, but dang, it's kind of messed up because you're not the one.
It's bullshit. Like, I mean, like, come on, I have 4 kids, and I'm already 24. It means it's time to be done.
Me, I do. How you gonna have a say so, and I'm the one that got married, baby?
Right, and it's fucked up because like from and then I don't know how it is in Pennsylvania, but from what I understand, I know in Georgia it's like that, and in Maryland it's like that, where, and after I had a riot, I wanted to get my tubes tied, and it was like, well, we can't do it because your husband said no. Like, like the fuck? Like,
first of all, I would have had a conversation with my husband, like, wait, you told them.
So I told my husband, I was like, so that means I'm gonna get my body snatched? Like, am I gonna get my mommy makeover?
Girl,
You just refusing.
I've been thinking about that, man, because like I don't like the thing that sucks is like I had went to the doctor because I was after I had Joey. I had asked him, okay, when can I start working now? And I'm ready to get snapped back. And he was like, this isn't fat. This is skin. You're gonna have to get a tummy tuck. And I was like, wait, so I can't work out at all? I can't do nothing natural because I'm scared to go into the night.
Right.
I mean, you can, but don't expect, super drastic results. Like, I mean,
Right. And then it's crazy because I got my stomach down, but from what I can see, I could tell it's like because I had so many pregnancies, and for me, it's like my stomach kept stretching. So like the muscles in my stomach, it's never gonna be the same. So I have no choice but to get a tummy tuck so that I can get the muscles retightened, and I'm doing it. I don't care. And Leon ain't gotta like it.
I think what it is, I'm scared to be like medically sleep. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's what unconscious. I don't know. It's just to know that.
Me, I'd rather put me to sleep.
Yeah, like
Put me to night because I don't want to feel nothing. I don't even at the dentist office, I'd be like, can you give me the sleeping gas? Because I'm scared.
No, seriously, that's exactly. I'm grown, but
I'm scared.
for sleeping gas.
He's not trying to get on board, and it's sickening and it's annoying, but that's just the laws up here. And even though I'm over 30, it's still the same thing. Like it doesn't matter. So it's like I have to like finesse the system in order for me to get my tubes tied. But even now, like from what I keep hearing from people, I don't even know if I want to do that because I'm scared. Like, no, I don't want my periods to be worse. Like they're already bad now with the Depo shot, so I can only imagine. And it'd be my luck because I'm super fertile. It'd be my luck that I get my tubes tied and then motherfuckers gonna come untied and I still get pregnant.
Can you tell me your experience when you had your tubes tied? Like, what did they put you to sleep? Was it any scarring? Like, was it vaginal way? Like, how do they do it? Is it through the vagina or is it through the stomach?
Or they go through your stomach.
Like,
I know some people they go through the stomach.
You can have muscles put back together, cheek and how do you?
No, I want the tummy tuck because I want them to get rid of all this extra skin that won't go away.
Yeah,
It's stretched out so much because I think my biggest stomach was Journey, and he really stretched me out the most, even though his ass was the smallest baby. Like everybody swore I was pregnant with twins. They're like, "Are you sure it's not twins? Because you're really, really, really huge." And
how big was he?
That better have been the cat. Let me take my ass in the house because I've been seeing rats and possums lately. I ain't got time. Let me go in the house real quick.
Girl, somebody tell him, man. Too much sapphire. But oh yeah, it was funny because not too long ago I had posted on my Instagram with my daughter, and I had a crop top on. I'm so used to sucking in my stomach naturally that most people think that my stomach is still flat. And so one of my supporters, she follows me on Instagram, and so she had inboxed me. She's like, "Girl, what do you do?" She's like, "What do you do to keep your stomach so snatched? I just had my baby about a year ago, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it." And I'm like, I was like, "Girl," I said, "I'm sucking in. What do you mean? I'm just as everybody."
Hold on, I gotta use the back.
Okay. Like I'm just as loose as everybody else. Shoes, funny how people think that I'm still skinny, and I'm like, boy, if only you knew. Let me exhale. You gonna see what I mean. Oh, hold on. Sorry, y'all. It's my phone. Wow. Let's see. They'll make one or two small.
All right, I'm here.
It's really quick.
I wash my hands real quick.
Really quick also. The worst is the shoulder pain.
He needs to understand. You're not. And he think I'm a baby machine. Like, boy, bye. I'm done.
So does it leave like really bad scarring? Like, is it similar to a C-section, or is it like what exactly do they do? I'm just really trying to contemplate it because I'm still, like I said, I'm still young, and I'm being honest with y'all. I want another baby for the wrong reasons. I want another baby for all the wrong reasons. Oh, it's kind of like a puppy. Like, oh my gosh, my youngest.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, she's not gonna be a baby anymore. All her firsts are gonna be gone. So I want to get back to the first steps and stuff like that. So it's like,
that's why it's good to have people that have babies around you. Like my sister, she has a baby, and when she brought him over and I babysat him for the whole day, I was like, and my kids was like, does he have to go home? I was like, he needs to go home with his mama. He needs to go home with his mama. It's about that time. Like after a while, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm glad.
right. It's like, it's
Go home. I had you for a whole 12 hours, and I had my feel.
right. It's like I really know that I really don't want another baby right now, but it's like that part of me that's just like my uterus is crying. It's calling me.
Mm-hmm.
You see, my scar is actually gone. My tooth removed. I'm not sure if I'm also young, 26. Okay, cool. I would wait. Don't do it if you're not sure. I know. I'm trying to wait to really sure because I don't want to, make a permanent decision off a temporary emotion. So that's why I'm like, good thing we're separated. So all I gotta do is say, man, Amazon.com. What y'all got for your girl?
That's right.
Let me experience. Because I ain't trying to have no babies right now. I don't need them.
I don't blame you.
Has knees, but I ain't trying to be in these streets. Toy me. Toy me. Okay.
Those work better anyways. No kidding.
You see. Oh, I thought it was something else on there. But I'm glad we had this chat, you guys.
Yes. I'm glad.
I feel like it could have been deeper into it. We should probably keep doing this. I think this will be nice.
Yeah, we can do it again. Let me know. Maybe we can do it again on next Saturday.
Sure.
Yeah.
People there, they are, they're waiting on me. I'm supposed to be, like the.
Hey, you made your first sale. Whoop whoop. Hey.
Are you a business owner?
She has a business, and I need to order some stuff from her. Now that I think about it, I'm about to message you, Sapphire, and see if I can get some stuff from her. She makes handmade bags and rugs, and she sells charm bracelets.
Oh.
And I just gave her some insights on how to manage her business, and I told her, I was like, girl, don't be trying to rush it. You don't have to do it in one day. And that's something I keep trying to tell myself. And then sometimes, you don't have to do it all by yourself. And so, like, don't think you have to do it. And that's something I had to give in on, because I'm like trying to create the merch for my channel. And I'm like, Vicki, just hire somebody, because you can't do this shit all by yourself.
15 years. Oh, love.
He wants a baby. Tell him I said no. Like, no.
Conversation go. Like,
where's my ring first? You gotta propose.
Right. Like, he said prepared having a baby. So what? Are y'all gonna be married for the first year and then y'all gonna do it? Or is it like as soon as y'all get married, straight to the baby making? Is it a biological clock thing? Like, what are y'all doing?
I think it's a biological clock, because I think you're older than me, right, Divine? I think she's older than me. I'm 32, so I think you're like.
Oh, wow, really? I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
See, and if it was up to me, I probably would have waited for all my kids. I probably would have waited until I was like 30, 31, 32, and then started having a whole bunch of kids. And and if I did wait until I was like 31, 32, oh, you want one too? Okay, then that's different. All right. I was gonna say. Oh, she said I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay.
But, if I would have had waited until I was like 30, 31, 32, like now, I probably would have had all my babies back to back, and I probably would have gave Leon all 12, because he wanted. No, I'm lying. Marina, didn't he say he wanted like 16 kids? Yeah, my husband wanted 16 kids. So and that's why I said the way we went about it is wrong, because that's not gonna happen. because now they starting to grow up to the point where like now I can just do what the fuck I want to do.
Right.
Like for the older kids, I really like for the older kids, I really don't have to find a babysitter. For the baby, I do, but that's easy because Nana always wants to take her, so that's easy.
It's funny
And
how
whereas before, when we had all those kids, like all 4 kids under that age, it was hard to find a babysitter. So it's like, imagine if we try to go for the 12 or the 16 back to back. We would have never had no date nights. You complain about date nights now. We would never have no date nights.
like when does it become a point to where we get to live our lives? When?
Right. So I'm like, I'm done.
Man, I don't know what is it with men that have this idea that we're just printing machines. Like, oh, they want to literally just sit there and be like, oh, I want this many kids. I want this many kids. And then we the main ones that be over the children. It's just
And but then there's sometimes where it's the opposite, where the husband's like, I'm done. Don't even ask me that question. I'm not. And men will go and get a vasectomy just to avoid your ass trick them into getting pregnant. And then they're like, please. And they're like, no. And then there's women that are just like, no, I'm done. And then the husband's like, please, babe, give me another baby. Give me another baby. And that's where Leon is now, because like the older kids are now hitting teenager. Like they're all teenagers now. And Araya's 3. So he's like, you want another one. Come on, give me another one. Because he's missed, like, that baby phase is gone. So now he's like, I miss that baby phase, and he wants that baby phase. And I'm like, no. You got me jacked up.
if he wants to do it, so I would love to bring.
I mean, maybe it's different if y'all both want it. I thought it was just like you only want it. Because the way you put the emojis was like, nigga, please.
Like, how is your views on like having kids young versus having them older? I kind of feel like it depends on.
It depends.
Like you pick your poison pretty much.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Like, I guess the way I thought. Wait, what did it say? No, I listened to the man. I just did that. Okay.
I think it depends because, like, for me, when I was younger, Leon was the one that was in control. But when we first got together, it was more of like the 1940s, 1930s thing where he worked and I took care of the household type of thing.
Right.
So I think it for me having kids young, I want to say before I met Leon, it was a bad thing because I was not in a healthy relationship. I was in a toxic relationship. It was abusive on both sides. I was abusive. He was abusive, verbally, physically, you know what I mean? So it wasn't a healthy place for me to have a baby. Plus, I wasn't really stable, meaning, and it's not like financially stable. I was financially stable. I just was not stable in the sense to where I could bring a child into the world and know how to not be toxic. You know what I mean? Whereas now it's different because I'm financially stable and I'm not mentally toxic or verbally toxic or emotionally toxic towards my kids, to where I feel like I'm not like like we said earlier, like how I raise my kids now will not be the same how I raised my older ones because I grew up from it and I learned.
Right.
My sister said, no, don't listen to the man.
She's silly.
It's okay, Mariana. I ain't listening to him.
I was kind of like on the fence. Like, I always thought, well, if I have my babies too old, then I won't be able to enjoy them. You know what I mean? Because they have so much energy. I'm gonna be able to be with them. But so I feel like, well, if I'm too young, then I might not even be established enough. So,
and see, like, and that's the thing, like, I think it just depends. If you have the support, and I'm not saying like having your kids young at like 16, 15, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like 18, 19, 20, 21, you know, in your 20s before you hit 25. From, I would say 18 to 25. If you have kids, it depends on the support system and your situation. Like, I know kids that, like, you know, they married their high school sweetheart at 18 and then automatically started having kids. I don't see nothing wrong with that because you have the support system. You have your family support, you have a husband, or even if you're not married, but you have that commitment between each other.
That will be in your corner.
Right. And then I feel like a lot, because like I've seen another YouTuber and she just announced that she was getting divorced. And I'm not surprised because they've known each other since like middle school and then they got married. So and she even said it. She's like, we saw what was happening is that we're growing apart from each other and we're growing up. So they're not the little kids that they first fell in love with. Like they evolved. So it's common for that to happen. And I know a lot of people. That's why a lot of kids don't want to get married now, especially millennials or like those that were born after like the 2000s or like the late 90s. Like I see why they don't want to get married and have kids right away because you don't really know who you are when you're that young. You know what I mean?
That you say that because I was just at my aunt's house. We were all, like I said, just consoling each other, and we were just talking about that. And like my parents, they're still married, but for a long time, I thought they had the perfect marriage. Because like they didn't tell us anything, so I thought that it was a marriage as long as they were together. Especially growing up when all the rest of my friends had single parent homes, I thought I was special because I didn't have one. I had a parent home. So until I figured it out about 2 years ago that it wasn't like that, we kind of talked about that. And my cousin I was talking about it with, their parents ended up getting a divorce. Well, anyway, fast forwarding, she has 2 kids of her own, and she's with the father of her kids. But she was saying how she feels afraid to get married because of how her parents' relationship turned out.
Right.
And it's like I don't think we realize how much we value our parents. Like they're like almost, I don't want to say gods to us, but literally
They are, right.
Young, you literally like they are gods to y'all.
And it's crazy that you said that because like before I got pregnant with my daughter, I was never thinking about marriage. I didn't want kids. I didn't want marriage. And it was something that me and her dad agreed upon, that we didn't want to get married. So we never had plans on getting married. But after she was born, it was like my whole perception of everything changed, and I wanted marriage, and I wanted the whole white picket fence lifestyle, and you know what I mean, like that structure to where it would be different for her because it was this girl, like this little baby in my hands that was looking up, like thinking about, like that's everything I was thinking about. So when I presented that to him,
I'm just reading the comments.
So it's like when I brought it to his attention, like I want to get married, I want this, I want that, and he didn't want the same thing. So that kind of like what made us split. But the real issue was the fact that he was, controlling and overprotective, and he was like, he didn't want me to hang out with my friends, he didn't want me to hang out with my family members. He would basically sit outside my house and stalk me if I kicked him out and told him that he could come over, and like it was really toxic. So it's like when I met Leon and he was talking about marriage and all that, like that kind of like attracted me to him because that's what I was looking for at that time in my life. I mean, I wasn't looking for it, just happened. But you know what I mean? So it's like it makes a lot of sense because like when I was before I even had my daughter, I wasn't even thinking about marriage. But then once you have kids in the picture, it's a little your mindset kind of changes a little bit about that.
Shoot, I was married from
and it depends on how you grew up too. So it's like, for everybody is different.
Because I was one of those kids who couldn't wait to get married. I didn't, like I said, my parents I grew up in a marriage type of household. It wasn't broken. Well, of course, technically, yes, it was a broken household, but you know what I mean by broken.
Mm-hmm.
Parents are separated, So, that's how I grew up. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a wife. I know what I am,
Right.
And the thing is like, the thing about that sucks is that people, like you said, they put their expectations on you.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with my husband, he wasn't looking for a wife, but he got one. And
right.
What happened was he didn't know how to deal with it. So it's kind of like he married me before he was ready because he knew.
Right. That's like Leon, because like he got with me and he didn't realize like I was independent, like strong-willed and independent. And because of that, like we butt heads a lot because he wanted it to be where I was always barefoot and pregnant and stayed home. And I wanted it to be where I wanted to pursue my own goals and dreams. And so we butt headed heads a lot for that because like, and for me, like I always grew up in a household where the husband was the one that was supposed to provide and lead, and he was the one that was supposed to, you know, take care of everything. So I basically like had to like then myself, or like internalize a lot of things that I really felt or wanted because of the traditions that I grew up around. So I grew up around, like, you know, the wife is supposed to stay home and take care of the house and the kids, and the husband's supposed to take care of the family, and not realizing, like, no, I can have both. Like, the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can have both. I can have a career and I can still be a mom and I can still take care of my household and still take care of everything. But it was like, it was a difficult way for us to be able to balance it because we had so many kids so like far like behind each other that it was hard for us to get childcare, you know. So I was kind of forced into the role of being a stay-at-home mom, even though that's not really what I really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read the comments. That's what I'm worried about now for my 21 and 14-year-old. My mom had me at 40. Oh, dang.
Wow.
I'm the only child. I don't believe in marriage. I've seen so much. I believe it. And I don't see anything wrong with not believing in marriage, because marriage was originally for property. Women were not. Yeah, marriage.
Hold on.
Marriage was originally about property, and women were not considered, you know, human. Like, a lot of people think that it was just, you know, like African Americans, that it was just slavery, but really, before slavery, women were not considered like human. They were considered property. Right. So if you were in a relation, like, and then like if you were in, and marriage was only considered something that royalty did. So if you had money, or if you had like livestock, or you had a son or a child that was like valuable and they were skilled, you would trade that child, whether if they were 9, 10, 11, 12, as long as they were at that age where they had a menstrual cycle and they can produce kids, you would sell them off for something in return, whether if it was land, a house, you know, pigs and goats and cows or something like that. And the only time that people, like, nobody ever really, marriage was never about love or, you know, unity or anything like that. It was more about property. And usually the only people that really was able to like get married were people that owned stuff. And over time, marriage became about love, because people were like, you know, fighting against it. You know, young kids, they would just go off and, you know, run away with their lover and just never show up. Oh yeah, this in certain countries it's still the same way. I know in a lot of countries,
Arranged marriage.
arranged marriages is still a thing where, you know, people have no choice. She's like, whoa. Yeah, in a lot of countries it's still like that, where people have to no choice but to be set up in arranged marriage. And it's crazy because, like, you're gonna wait. And it's crazy because, like, I know in some cultures where they'll keep you around a specific person because the parents already made an agreement that those kids are going to marry at some point in time in the future, because it's already arranged. So, like, I know in like some Hispanic cultures it's like that, where you and that child, like, you, like, say if it was me, they will give me like a jewelry that will match with the other child that was born, that the parents had agreed to, like, okay, our kids are going to get married. So the way they do it is that you grow up with that child all the time. You go to school with them, you play with them, everything, just so that you can form a relationship or a bond with them, so that when you do become adults and the parents, and I don't know, it happens unintentionally in America, but, like, you know how it is when you go around certain people and they be like, oh, such and such, and like, look at them, they're cute together, okay. It's like, oh, they are so cute together. Like, oh, snap, that is so cute. But really, that's them grooming for the kids to accept the fact that it's okay for them to be together at some point in time, if that makes sense. So, yeah, and a lot of people don't know that. Like, she's yelling at me, my panties. You need to get a pull-up on. That's what you need. Get a pull-up on. It's time for night-night. It's almost 11 o'clock.
Stay up this late. Well,
yeah.
It's Saturday. It's different on the weekends. I'm strict when it comes to the my kids' schedule, because I notice, like, they're not gonna take me serious if I don't put a schedule on them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
know, like they're gonna be all over the place. I need them to be starting to get sleepy at a certain time, so I can
Right.
like
Go
I
in the
know
hamper.
right around 6:30, y'all will be wiping y'all eyes because at 7:30 nighttime.
Yeah. Well, see, her schedule is off because the kids are home and they've been home, so her sleep schedule has been all jacked up since they've been homeschooled. So she don't even take a nap anymore, which drives me crazy because then she get whiny and frustrated and irritated by the time it's time for bed, and then she don't want to go sleep because she sees everybody else still up. Go put it in a dirty hamper.
That's exactly
Put it in a dirty hamper for her. Hey, you hear me talking to him? You're rude.
Got some spunk in you. I like you.
Huh?
So you got some spunk in you. I like you.
I have to be because, like, if I don't have, because my husband has a deep voice, so if I don't get like deep with it, they will ignore the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
So I gotta get deep like my husband, and just so that they will listen to me.
I'll be doing it. Doing that.
Let me pull up for her. That's the only way.
I always ask, why do y'all listen? Why do y'all listen to him and not me? Like, do I have to be
Because
really?
it's the bass in the voice. You gotta get deep with it. You gotta be like, you gotta get beat. And I've just figured that out. Like, I just literally figured that out. Like, why do these kids not respect me? Like, why is these kids not talking to me? Like, they don't treat me like I'm their mother. And I realized some bass in that shit, and they like, they stand and it'd be crazy. They stop in the tracks like a deer caught in the headlight. They be like, they be like. Like if I say it all nice, like, hey, can you do this for me? They just ignore me. Like I ain't even say nothing to them. Like I know you heard me.
Exactly.
But yeah, like a lot of people don't know that. And like that marriage is not, it's not what people think it is. Like that's not what originally came about. And so like like when I think about marriage, I don't think about it in the same sense as other people. I think of it as more as like a commitment. Instead, like I don't call Leon, like I tell other people Leon's my husband because that makes more sense to people. But in reality, Leon is my life partner. I look at him.
Is that why Will and Jada? Well, I don't know if you heard about Will and Jada. What's going on with their whole entanglement, that was hilarious. That word that she used, entanglement. But
I'm supposed to be doing a video on that, so it's coming out.
No.
But because my husband and I don't have like your traditional relationship, why are you whining? Journey. But you're supposed to, I didn't say pamper, I said a pull up. And who are you getting snappy with?
Who's Lakeside? I don't know who that is. Is that another YouTuber?
Yeah, but you don't want to talk to her because she's a whole racist. That's a whole racist in itself.
Ooh, I like racist people, but I like to challenge people. I like to have conversations.
I do too. Like I haven't deleted anybody on my Facebook that be talking about all white lives matter and stuff. And I just be saying it on that like nice, like with a little text, like just to get people to think. I'd rather you think than argue with you. Like there's no point of arguing with you.
I'm near her though. Oh, you live in her city or her state or something like that? I'm surprised you went over there and had a few choice words because I don't know how racist she is because I've never heard of her.
Oh, she was live. Oh, you must have missed it. She was live and she told a Mexican guy to go back to his country where he belonged.
So she's like a Trump.
Yeah, she Trump supporter everything.
Oh.
She one of those. She one of those.
Lord.
You do not want to go in that sector. You don't want to go in that area. We're going to keep to the positive side.
Man, because is it really positive on this side of the sector? Because
my side,
it's kind of, I don't get negative comments. Well, I get a few every so often, but
you want some more?
I think my negative comments come from
Justice.
People
come here.
Assuming like they don't even necessarily watch me yet.
I don't think main thing is there's a difference between drama and bullying and being real. Like, I don't know, that's just me. I feel like No, that's not chocolate milk. No, it should be Ovaltine. It might be in the back. It literally, like, you're not even looking for it. It literally says on the container, Ovaltine. You see how kids be doing, trying to do? They just be look. He didn't even look. He was just looking like this, like it was gonna pop up in his face.
Man. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. I'm almost at 300 subscribers.
So yeah, like I don't know. I just think there's a difference because I watch reaction videos and I watch T channels and like the one channel she's called Spill Tea or something like that. And I like the way she does her videos, but it'll be like nasty mean, like some people do.
No,
I don't know.
Would you say you like the way she does her videos? Who?
It's called Spill Tea. I think that's her channel name.
That sounds familiar.
But she does videos on like YouTubers and celebrities, but it's not mean and degrading like some of these people do.
I think I've seen that channel before. That sounds really. She's a big YouTuber.
Yeah, she has like a good chunk of subscribers.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar. Do y'all watch Peach?
Justice is looking for stuff to make your
I
cut.
watch her. I watch Lovely Peaches. If that's who you're talking about, Lovely Peaches. She's more celebrity gossip versus YouTuber gossip.
Yeah. Do I watch Peaches? Who's Peaches?
I think she means Lovely Peaches. I think.
Oh.
I'm not sure. But yeah, I really don't get negative comments. Like I said, I think my negative comments come when people are just like prejudging versus watching the video. They go based on the video.
That's why I don't really be ignorant about it. Like it just depends on what the comment is. For the most part, I try to respond in a respectful way, and sometimes it just comes off sarcastic and
yeah, you can't really tell the person's context when they
like that's just how I am. Like I try not to come off as judgy and ignorant as them, but sometimes they push me to that point when they just be like, this bitch, that bitch, I bet. And I'm like, hold up, you don't know shit. Did you even watch my videos? No, you just went based off of this one video that's for like 10 seconds. You didn't even watch the whole video. So therefore, you're going to get the bitch in return.
Videos, it was like, oh.
Yes, but I would rather do milk.
Be worthless content.
No, use a spoon.
And I'm like, well, just because my views are low doesn't mean my content is worthless. It just means no one knows about me yet. It just is what it is. And there was another person who was talking about my food stamps, and it was like, because it's a very negative thought process with that whole thing. And so I'm like, well, dang, like I still go to work. Like me and my husband, we still go to work. We work very hard. We just need help. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
In our case, we just get our money back technically because we still work. That's really what it is. We get our money back because we pay the state for taxes. See,
another mommy. No, I don't know. I don't know who that is.
But I should try. I should try it. I should look her up. Is she entertaining? Some people are boring. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Some people are boring. But I be trying to tell people, like when people ask me for advice, I try to tell them like it's probably not your content and it's probably not you. It's just how you're editing your videos. Because you can have the most boring content, but if you edit it a certain way and make it entertaining, people won't even notice that your ass is boring as fuck.
People have very YouTube channel. People have very attention spans. If you switch the camera angle, if you're doing one thing,
oh yeah, my bad.
Angle, you will literally keep their
that
attention longer. So I'm putting out on game for those people who want to. I'm not one of those people who like to keep information. I'm not crabs in the barrel. Okay, it's enough money for all of us. Let me see. Why is it this late? Right. Like, what time is it?
It's already 11 o'clock.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I need to go to my mama's house, you guys. I gotta go be with my mommy.
All right. Well, I had fun. This was fun. Oh, Peach McIntyre. Yes, I know who that is. I just got somebody sent me to her, and then they was asking me like, how did she get her views up? And I was telling the person like, she just started her channel 8 months ago, and she's already like 50,000 subscribers or something like that. And I told the person, I said, the reason why is because she's consistent. She uploaded like 46 videos in the last 30 days. When you're consistent with your videos, like I'm talking about like you're uploading every day or at least twice or 3 times a day, you're gonna get picked up on the algorithm and it's gonna be easy. And then you also have to make sure that your titles and your tags is all good and gravy. Lex, if you want to know more, I'll hit you up in my Instagram. Okay.
You know, you hear certain things about, you know, tags and stuff like that, but
No.
I'm not really educated on it. I just kind of, you know, just kind of upload a video, put a title, and be like, hey, this is it. You know, hope you guys enjoy.
Right. Yeah, I'll message you some things because a lot of people that I'm working with and I'm collabing with, I tried to help them before we can like, you know, because I don't mind doing it for free. We're collabing. I'm gonna put you on game. You ain't gotta worry about it because you're already doing good now as it is. So I mean, you got yourself to monetize. So yeah, pat yourself on the back. So, but I'm gonna show you some other stuff. That way you can get yourself even more subscribers.
Yeah, I cry when I got.
So yeah, like if people are like wondering how did Peach get her channel to where it is today, she was smart. She hopped onto the algorithm and the Google Trends, and she started pumping out videos about the pandemic, food stamps, and everything like that. And she climbed hard the last 30 days, and she got her ass up there. So, you know, it's all about the Google searching and tags and everything. And what I plan on doing is making videos and sitting down and setting up my membership. And if you want to pay for, like, because I know not everybody wants to know about social media and all that. And I'm not going to make it expensive or anything like that for it to be a month, but I'm going to do like membership only videos where you learn about social media and you learn about certain things on how to build your channel. So that way you guys can actually grow your channel if you guys want to, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. We're gonna end this here. I think this was a great topic. I think me and Lex can probably come up with something else. If you want, we can go on your channel next weekend. If you want, instead, we could do swap, and we could do like a positive Saturday or like something, personal growth, something.
Name it something. I don't know yet, but we're probably gonna brainstorm in the DMs on what we're gonna call this or something like that. But
yeah.
Meeting all of you guys again.
Yes. We'll definitely check out Lex too. Her channel's down in the description box. I made sure to empty out the description box so you can find it. So that way you guys know her information. Go subscribe. Go hit her up on Instagram because her Instagram is dope too, just like her YouTube channel. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoyed the topic. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Vicki.
Bye.